When a cold-blooded billionaire is humiliated in front of the entire city, she makes a crazy offer to an ordinary single father, pretend to love her for revenge. But instead of accepting the money, he refuses with a statement that stuns her. From there, the pretense becomes a real danger as their past, power, and dark secrets begin to surround them. Can their fake love become the most genuine thing they ever have? Follow the story to the end. Like and comment the city you're watching in to let me know how far this story has come. The Champagne Tower collapsed at exactly 9:47. Noah Bennett heard the crash from across the ballroom, watched 300 crystal glasses explode into glittering shrapnel across imported marble, and thought, perfect, just fucking perfect. He stood near the back wall of the Blackthorn Grand Hotel's rooftop terrace, nursing warm whiskey and counting the minutes until he could leave without offending anyone important. The charity gala sprawled around him like a diamond-encrusted circus. Women in gowns that cost more than his mortgage, men laughing too loud about stock portfolios, waiters gliding through the crowd with trays of caviar nobody actually wanted to eat. Noah hated everything about these events. The fake smiles, the networking, the way people looked through him when they realized he wasn't an executive, just some middle management architect who'd been invited because the company needed bodies to fill chairs. He checked his phone for the 4th time in 10 minutes. Still nothing from his daughter's babysitter. Emma was fine. She was always fine. But the anxiety never quite disappeared, even when he knew she was safe at home, watching documentaries about deep-sea creatures and building Lego spaceships on the living room floor. "Excuse me." Noah glanced up. A woman stood beside him. Mid-20s, blonde, wearing a dress that probably cost more than his car. She smiled the particular smile rich people used when they wanted something. "You're Noah Bennett, right? From the architecture division?" "That's me. I'm Stephanie. I work in marketing." She stepped closer, her perfume overwhelming. "I've heard about your work on the Riverside Project. Very impressive." Noah doubted she'd heard anything about the Riverside Project. He doubted she knew what the Riverside Project actually was. "Thanks," he said anyway. "Are you here alone?" "I am." "Me too." Another step closer. "Maybe we could—" "Sorry," Noah interrupted gently. "I need to check on something." He walked away before she could finish, heading toward the balcony doors where the cold November air might clear his head. These conversations always went the same direction, and he'd learned years ago there was no polite way to explain he wasn't interested. Not in networking, not in casual flirtation, not in whatever game people played at events like this. He just wanted to go home. But as Noah pushed through the crowd, something changed in the room's atmosphere. Conversations dropped mid-sentence. Heads turned. The string quartet faltered for half a beat before recovering. Noah followed everyone's gaze toward the main entrance. Oh. Selena Vaughn had arrived. She moved through the ballroom like she owned it, which, technically, she did. The entire hotel belonged to Vaughn Tech Industries, along with half the skyscrapers visible through the floor-to-ceiling windows. At 30 years old, Selena Vaughn was the youngest self-made female billionaire in the country, famous for buying struggling companies and transforming them into empires. The media called her the Ice Queen of Wall Street. Looking at her now, Noah understood why. She wore a black gown that looked liquid, her dark hair pulled back severely, diamond earrings catching light like tiny stars. Beautiful in the way glaciers were beautiful, cold, untouchable, potentially deadly if you got too close. But something was wrong. Noah noticed it immediately, even from across the room. The way her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. The tension in her shoulders beneath all that expensive fabric. The slight hesitation before she accepted a champagne flute from a passing waiter. Selena Vaughn looked like she was about to shatter. Then Noah saw why. A man entered behind her, tall, silver-haired, wearing a tuxedo that screamed old money. Noah recognized him from business magazines, Marcus Ashford, some kind of venture capitalist. More importantly, he was Selena's ex-fiancé, and he wasn't alone. The woman clinging to Marcus's arm looked barely 23, wearing a dress cut so low it probably violated physics. Social media influencer, Noah guessed, the kind who posted bikini photos from private jets and called it entrepreneurship. Marcus guided his date directly towards Selena. The entire ballroom went silent. "Selena." Marcus's voice carried across the space with practiced ease. "You look stunning as always. Have you met Brianna? She's absolutely brilliant. Just closed her first endorsement deal with a luxury skincare line." Selena's smile never wavered. How wonderful. I'm sure that required tremendous effort. Brianna giggled, pressing closer to Marcus. Oh my God, I just love your dress. Is it vintage? Custom. Yeah. So chic. Marcus was just telling me about your little tech company. It's so inspiring how you've built a career despite everything. The insult landed perfectly, subtle enough to maintain deniability, sharp enough to draw blood. Marcus squeezed Brianna's waist. Selena doesn't need career advice from anyone, sweetheart. She's been very successful in her own way. Her own way. Like Selena hadn't built a $15 billion empire from nothing while Marcus coasted on his family's investment portfolio. Noah watched Selena's knuckles go white around her champagne glass. He should leave. This wasn't his business. He barely knew these people except from company newsletters and occasional elevator encounters. Whatever drama was unfolding between billionaires and their ex-lovers had nothing to do with him. But he didn't move. Maybe it was the way Selena's mask was cracking, just slightly around the edges. Maybe it was the smug satisfaction on Marcus's face. Maybe Noah was just tired of watching powerful people humiliate each other for entertainment. Marcus leaned in, lowering his voice just enough that only Selena would hear, except Noah was standing close enough to catch the words too. You always were better at making money than keeping men, darling. Some women just aren't built for both. Selena's face went completely blank, and Noah found himself moving forward before he'd consciously decided to. He crossed the ballroom in 12 steps, weaving between startled guests, ignoring the confused looks following his path. He had no plan, no script, just a growing anger at watching someone get cornered at what was supposed to be a professional event. Noah stopped directly beside Selena. She turned, startled, clearly not recognizing him. Sorry I'm late, Noah said quietly. Traffic was terrible. Selena blinked. I'm sorry, Dewey. Noah Bennett. We met at the office last month. He held out his hand. You said you wanted to discuss the sustainability proposal? It was complete fiction. They'd never met. He'd seen her exactly twice, both times from a distance, both times while she was surrounded by executives and assistants. But Selena was brilliant. Noah watched understanding flash across her face, followed by calculation, followed by something that might have been desperate relief. She took his hand. Of course. I apologize, Mr. Bennett. This week has been chaotic. Marcus was staring at them both, confused and irritated. Who the hell is this? Noah Bennett, Selena said smoothly, not releasing Noah's hand. Senior architect with Vaughn Tech. He's been developing some fascinating proposals for our new sustainable housing initiative. I didn't know we had a sustainable housing initiative. That's because you haven't worked for this company in 3 years, Marcus. Direct hit. Marcus's jaw tightened. Brianna tugged on his sleeve. Baby, I thought you said the silent auction was starting soon. I want to bid on that Birkin bag. In a minute. But Selena was already turning away, Noah's hand still in hers. If you'll excuse us, Mr. Bennett and I have business to discuss. Enjoy your evening. She pulled Noah toward the balcony with surprising strength for someone wearing heels that could double as weapons. They pushed through the glass doors into cold November air, leaving Marcus fuming behind them. The moment they were alone, Selena dropped Noah's hand and stepped back. Thank you, she said quietly. That was... You didn't have to... He's an asshole. A startled laugh escaped before she could stop it. Yes, he really is. They stood in awkward silence for a moment. Below them, Blackthorn City glittered like scattered jewelry, traffic moving in bright streams between glass towers. The charity gala hummed behind the closed doors, muffled music and conversation blending into white noise. Selena leaned against the railing, suddenly looking exhausted. I'm sorry, she said. You must think I'm completely pathetic. I think you're having a shitty night at a shitty party surrounded by shitty people. Another surprised laugh. That's remarkably accurate. Noah moved to the railing beside her, careful to maintain distance. Up close, he could see the strain around her eyes. The way she held herself too rigidly, like relaxing even slightly, might cause everything to collapse. For what it's worth, he said, bringing his new girlfriend to your charity event is pretty much the definition of a dick move. His new influencer, Selena corrected dryly. Apparently, I'm too focused on my little tech company to properly appreciate vintage fashion and skincare endorsements. Yeah, I caught that. Marcus has always had a talent for finding exactly where someone's vulnerable and pushing until they break. She stared at the city below. We were engaged for 18 months. I ended it when I discovered he'd been embezzling from his own clients to fund his lifestyle. He claimed I was destroying his reputation by refusing to cover it up. Noah said nothing. Sometimes silence was better than platitudes. The worst part? Selena continued quietly. He's right about one thing. I am good at making money. Exceptional, actually. Building companies, closing deals, turning failing businesses into billion-dollar successes. But relationships? She shook her head. Apparently I'm not built for those. That's bullshit. She glanced at him, surprised. You don't even know me. Rishi. I know you just spent 30 seconds being publicly humiliated, and you didn't break down, throw a drink in his face, or have him thrown out of your own event. That takes serious control. Control isn't the same as connection. No, Noah agreed, but it counts for something. Yeah. They fell silent again. Inside, the string quartet had started playing something classical and melancholy. Through the glass doors, Noah could see Marcus and Brianna working the room, laughing too loudly, making sure everyone saw them together, making sure everyone knew Selena was alone. I should go back in, Selena said finally. People will start talking if I hide out here all night. They're already talking. True. She straightened, pulling her Ice Queen mask back into place. The transformation was unsettling, watching warmth drain from her expression until only polished perfection remained. Still, appearances matter in my world. She moved toward the door, then paused. Mr. Bennett? Noah. Noah. She turned back. Thank you again for the rescue. You didn't have to get involved. Yeah, well, Noah shrugged. I've got a daughter. She's 6. I'm teaching her that sometimes you step in when someone needs help, even if it's not your problem. Something flickered across Selena's face. You have a daughter? Emma. She's probably building a rocket ship out of cardboard boxes right now, while her babysitter tries to get her ready for bed. That sounds wonderful. Oh. The wistfulness in her voice caught Noah off guard. For just a second, the Ice Queen disappeared completely, replaced by someone who looked genuinely lonely. Then the moment passed. Selena opened the balcony door, and immediately the noise and heat of the gala washed over them. She stepped inside, back straight, chin high, ready to face the sharks. Noah followed more slowly. He'd done his good deed for the night. Time to leave before— There you are! Noah turned. Selena was walking toward him through the crowd, champagne in hand, that perfect smile fixed in place. Every head in the room swiveled to watch. Oh no. She stopped directly in front of him, close enough that he could smell her perfume. Something subtle and expensive that probably cost more than his rent. I'm so glad we could continue our conversation, she said, voice pitched to carry just far enough. Your ideas about sustainable development are truly innovative. Dance with me. It wasn't a request. Noah glanced around. Everyone was watching now. Marcus stood near the bar, face dark with anger. Brianna pouted beside him, clearly annoyed at losing attention. I don't dance, Noah said quietly. Neither do I. But right now, I need everyone in this room to think you're the most fascinating person I've met all year. Why? Selena's smile never wavered, but her eyes were desperate. Because if I have to stand alone while my ex-fiancé parades his 23-year-old girlfriend around my own charity event, I'm going to do something that ends up on social media and tanks my company's stock price. Noah should say no. He should absolutely say no. This was insane. Getting involved in billionaire relationship drama, pretending to be something he wasn't, lying to a ballroom full of investors and executives. But Emma's face flashed through his mind. The way she looked at him when he explained how sometimes being kind mattered more than being smart. Sometimes you step in when someone needs help. One dance, Noah said. Relief flooded Selena's expression. One dance. She set down her champagne and took his hand, leading him toward the dance floor where other couples already swayed to the quartet's music. Noah followed, hyper-aware of every eye tracking their movement. They reached the center of the floor. Selena turned, placing one hand on Noah's shoulder, the other in his palm. He rested his free hand awkwardly on her waist, feeling ridiculously out of his depth. "I really don't dance," he muttered. "Just sway. Everyone's watching us, not your footwork." They began moving, less dancing than shifting weight from foot to foot in vaguely rhythmic patterns. But Selena was right. Nobody was looking at their technique. The entire ballroom was transfixed by the sight of the Ice Queen of Wall Street in the arms of some unknown man. "Who are you really?" Selena asked quietly. "And don't say senior architect. I know every senior staff member by name, and you're not one of them." Noah winced. "Mid-level architect. I exaggerated." "Why?" Thought it would sound more convincing. A genuine smile tugged at her lips. "You're a terrible liar." "Yeah, I know." They turned slowly. Across the room, Marcus was staring daggers at them both. Brianna had abandoned him to flirt with some silver-haired investor. "This is working," Selena murmured. "He looks absolutely furious. Is that what you want? To make him angry? I want him to feel 1/10 of the humiliation he just put me through." "And then what?" Selena's grip tightened slightly. "What do you mean? After tonight, after you've proven whatever you're trying to prove, what happens then?" She was quiet for a long moment, long enough that Noah thought she might not answer. "I don't know," she finally admitted. "I've spent so long building my company, proving I deserved every dollar I made, that I forgot to build anything else. Work is everything, my entire identity, and Marcus knew exactly where to hit to make it hurt. Ma'am, by bringing an Instagram model to your charity event? By showing everyone I'm completely alone." Selena's voice dropped to barely a whisper. "Everyone in this room knows I have money, power, success. But they also know I have nobody, no partner, no family, nothing but quarterly earnings reports and shareholder meetings." Noah understood that feeling better than she knew. Noah. The song was ending. Around them, couples began separating, drifting back to their conversations and networking. But Selena didn't let go. Instead, she leaned closer, her breath warm against his ear. "Noah Bennett," she whispered, "I want to make you an offer." Here it comes, Noah thought. The money, the proposition, whatever game this was really about. "Pretend you're in love with me tonight," Selena continued. "Just for a few hours. Stay by my side. Make it look real. And I'll give you anything you want. Promotion, money, connections that could change your entire career." Noah should pull away, should politely decline, should get the hell out of this ballroom before he got tangled in something he couldn't escape. But he heard himself say, "What's the real reason?" Selena pulled back slightly, surprised. "I just told you." "No. You told me the excuse. I want the real reason." For the first time all night, Selena's mask cracked completely. Noah saw fear beneath the diamonds and designer fabric. Real, raw fear. "Because I'm tired of being alone," she said quietly. "Because everyone in this room thinks I'm invincible, and I'm terrified they'll realize I'm barely holding it together. Because if I have to spend one more minute being the Ice Queen while my ex proves he's already replaced me, I might actually break." Shame. The honesty hit Noah like a punch to the chest. Around them, people were starting to notice they'd stopped dancing. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Phones appeared, camera flashes reflecting off crystal chandeliers. Noah made a decision he'd probably regret. "You don't need revenge," he said quietly. "You need someone who sees you before you break." Selena went completely still. "What? You heard me." "Nah. That's not... I'm not..." She struggled for words, the Ice Queen facade shattering. "You can't just say things like that to someone you barely know." "Why not? It's true." "You don't know anything about me." "I know you're exhausted," Noah said. "I know you're hurting. I know you just asked a stranger to pretend to love you because you're too scared to let anyone actually get close." Tears gathered in Selena's eyes. "Stop." "I know that feeling," Noah continued gently. "The loneliness, the fear, wondering if you're broken somehow because everyone else seems to manage relationships while you're drowning alone. How do you..." "My wife died 3 years ago. Car accident. Emma was 3. For a long time after that, I convinced myself I was fine because I had to be. I had a daughter depending on me. No time for grief or loneliness or asking for help. He paused. But I wasn't fine. I was falling apart. And the only thing that saved me was finally admitting I couldn't do it alone. Selena stared at him, mascara starting to run. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Just stop pretending you need revenge when what you really need is to let yourself be human. I can't, her voice cracked. If I let people see me break, they'll see you're real, not perfect, not invincible, just real. A tear escaped down Selena's cheek. She wiped it away furiously, glancing around to see who might have noticed. Everyone was watching. Phones were out. Camera flashes popped like small fireworks. Noah could already imagine tomorrow's headlines. Billionaire breaks down at charity gala or Ice Queen melts in public. Selena saw it too. Panic flashed across her face. I need to leave, she whispered. Right now. Okay. I can't. Everyone's watching. Then let them watch. Noah took her hand, firmly, gently. The way he held Emma's hand when she was scared and needed someone to anchor her. We're going to walk out of here together, he said quietly. Head high. No running. No apologies. Just two people leaving a party. They'll talk. Let them. Selena took a shaky breath. Why are you doing this? Because everyone deserves someone who will walk out with them instead of watching them fall apart alone. For a long moment, Selena just looked at him, like she was trying to figure out if he was real or some elaborate trick. Then she squeezed his hand. Okay. They walked. Through the ballroom, past whispering guests and gawking socialites. Past Marcus, whose face had gone purple with rage. Past Brianna, who looked confused about why nobody was paying attention to her anymore. Past the champagne towers and ice sculptures and charity auction displays, worth more than most people's houses. Out into the hotel lobby, where the noise faded to echoes. Down the marble steps, where November air hit them like cold water. Into the parking lot, where reality waited. Selena stopped beside a black Mercedes that probably cost more than Noah's salary for the next 5 years. She released his hand, suddenly looking lost. I don't know what to do now, she admitted. I've never walked out of an event before. I've never broken down in public. I've never... She gestured helplessly. Any of this. You go home, Noah said. Take a shower. Put on comfortable clothes. Maybe watch something stupid on TV. Let yourself feel like shit for a while without trying to fix it. That sounds terrible. It is, but it's better than pretending you're fine when you're not. Selena looked at him for a long moment. Then unexpectedly, she laughed. It sounded brittle and slightly hysterical, but real. You're very strange, Noah Bennett. I get that a lot. Most men would have taken the money, Bob. I'm not most men. Clearly. She pulled out her car keys, then hesitated. Can I ask you something? Sure. Earlier, when I offered you anything you wanted, you really would have said no, even knowing what I could give you? Noah thought about his daughter asleep at home, the mortgage payment due next week, the medical bills still arriving 3 years after his wife's death. Yeah. Oh, he said. I would have. Why? Because Emma's watching, not literally, obviously, but the person I am when she's not around needs to be the same person I am when she is. Otherwise, what am I teaching her? Selena's eyes welled up again. That's... She stopped, composing herself. You're going to make me cry again. Sorry. Don't be. She unlocked her car, then paused with her hand on the door. Noah, thank you. For tonight, for... She gestured vaguely. Everything. You're welcome. Well, I should give you something, for your time, for the... I don't want anything. But, Selena, Noah kept his voice gentle. Sometimes people help because it's the right thing to do, not because they expect payment. She stared at him like he'd spoken a foreign language. People like that don't exist in my world. Maybe that's the problem with your world. Selena climbed into her Mercedes. Through the window, Noah watched her grip the steering wheel, taking deep breaths like she was trying not to fall apart completely. Then she lowered the window. If you ever need anything, she said quietly. Anything at all, call me. She handed him a business card, heavy cardstock with simple black text. Just her name, a phone number, and the Vaughn Tech logo. I won't need to, Noah said. Keep it anyway. The window rose. The Mercedes pulled away, expensive engine purring into the night. Noah stood alone in the parking lot, holding a billionaire's business card and wondering what the hell he'd just gotten himself into. His phone buzzed, text from Emma's babysitter. She's asleep. Built a spaceship that takes up the entire living room. Good luck. Noah smiled, pocketed the business card, and headed for his beaten-up Honda Civic. Tomorrow, he'd probably regret everything about tonight. But right now, driving home through the city lights, he felt like maybe he'd done something that mattered, even if he had no idea what came next. Noah's phone started ringing at 6:43 the next morning. He ignored it, rolling over in bed and burying his face in the pillow. Probably a spam call. Or his mother, who still hadn't figured out time zones despite living in Arizona for the past decade. The ringing stopped. Started again. Noah groaned, groping for his phone on the nightstand. Unknown number. He let it go to voicemail. Then Emma's voice drifted from down the hall. "Daddy, your phone's being loud." "Sorry, sweetheart, go back to sleep. Can we have pancakes? It's not even 7 yet." "But I'm hungry now. And I had a dream about pancakes shaped like Saturn." Noah smiled despite his exhaustion. "Saturn pancakes require advanced engineering. Give me 10 minutes. Okay." The sound of small feet padding back to her room. Noah's phone buzzed with a text. Then another. Then 5 more in rapid succession. Frowning, he unlocked the screen. The first text was from his coworker, David. Dude, why didn't you tell me you were dating Selena Vaughn?" Noah stared at the message, confused. The second text was from his sister in Portland. Are you going to explain the photos, or do I have to come down there and shake it out of you?" The third was from a number he didn't recognize. "This is Jennifer Kwan from Business Insider. I'd like to speak with you about your relationship with Selena Vaughn. Please call me at your earliest convenience." What the hell? Noah opened his browser and typed Selena Vaughn into the search bar. The results hit him like a freight train. Headlines everywhere. Dozens of them. All posted within the last 3 hours. Ice Queen melts. Billionaire Selena Vaughn. Seen crying with mystery man. Who is Noah Bennett, the unknown architect, who stole Selena Vaughn's heart? Selena Vaughn walks out of her own charity. Gala with handsome stranger. Marcus Ashford, humiliated as ex-fiancé, finds new love and photos. So many photos. Noah and Selena dancing, Noah holding her hand as they left the ballroom, Selena crying while Noah said something to her on the dance floor. The images were grainy, clearly taken on phones from across the room, but unmistakable. Oh shit. Saw. His phone rang again. This time he recognized the number, Vaughn Tech's main office line. Noah answered. "Hello? Mr. Bennett." A woman's voice, crisp and professional. "This is Caroline Reeves, executive assistant to Ms. Vaughn. She'd like to speak with you as soon as possible. Are you available this morning? I have to take my daughter to school at 8:30, Ms. Vaughn can meet you at 9. Her office, 42nd floor. Security will be expecting you. Wait, I don't think... 9 o'clock, Mr. Bennett? Thank you." The line went dead. Noah sat on the edge of his bed, staring at his phone, trying to process what was happening. Last night had been surreal enough. Dancing with a billionaire. Walking her out of her own charity event. The conversation in the parking lot. But this was insane. His phone buzzed again. Another text from David. Channel 7 is running the story right now. They're calling you the single dad who stole the billionaire. This is amazing. Not amazing, Noah thought. Definitely not amazing. "Daddy!" Emma appeared in his doorway, already dressed in mismatched pajamas. One pink sock, one with dinosaurs. "You said 10 minutes, but it's been way longer." "You're right. I'm sorry." Noah stood, pocketing his phone. "Saturn pancakes, coming up." Emma beamed and ran toward the kitchen. Noah followed more slowly, his mind racing. He needed to talk to Selena. Needed to figure out what the hell to say when reporters inevitably tracked down his address. Needed to... His phone rang again. Noah glanced at the screen and his stomach dropped. The caller ID read, Emma's school. He answered immediately. "Hello? Mr. Bennett? This is Principal Walsh. I'm calling because we've had several reporters show up at the school this morning asking questions about Emma. I've turned them away. but I wanted to give you a heads up before you arrive for drop-off. Jesus Christ. Excuse me? Sorry, I thank you for calling. Is Emma safe? We're not allowing anyone on campus who doesn't have authorization. Emma is perfectly safe, but you might want to consider using the back entrance today. Noah rubbed his face, said, "Yeah, okay, thank you." He hung up and found Emma sitting at the kitchen table, swinging her legs and humming to herself. "Change of plans, sweetheart." She looked up. "No pancakes? We'll do pancakes tomorrow. Today we're going to have cereal and get to school a little early." "Why?" "Because your dad accidentally got photographed with a billionaire and now the entire city thinks we're in a relationship," Noah thought. "Just because," he said instead. 20 minutes later, Noah pulled into the school parking lot through the back entrance Principal Walsh had mentioned. Sure enough, he could see news vans parked out front, reporters milling around with cameras. "Why are there TV people here?" Emma asked from the back seat. "They're working on a story." "About what?" "Grown-up stuff. Nothing important." Emma unbuckled her seatbelt as Noah parked. "Can I be on TV?" "Absolutely not." "But, Emma." Noah turned to face her. "Listen to me. If anyone, and I mean anyone, asks you questions about me or our family, you say no thank you and walk away. You come find a teacher or Principal Walsh. You don't answer anything. Understand?" Emma's eyes went wide. "Am I in trouble?" "No, baby, you're not in trouble. But there are going to be people asking questions, and I need you to remember not to talk to them." "Okay, Daddy, has tipti citi." Noah walked her to the classroom, hyper-aware of every person they passed. But inside the school, everything seemed normal. Kids running around, teachers setting up for the day. Nobody staring or whispering. Emma's teacher, Miss Rodriguez, smiled as they approached. "Good morning?" "Morning," Noah said. "Did Principal Walsh talk to you about—" "She did. Don't worry. We'll keep an eye out." Emma hugged Noah's leg. "Love you, Daddy." "Love you too, sweetheart. Have a good day." Oh. He watched her run into the classroom, already chattering with her best friend about something involving dolphins, and felt a surge of protective fury. This was exactly why he avoided getting involved in other people's drama, because it always spilled over, always affected the people who mattered most. Noah's phone buzzed. Text from the executive assistant. "Ms. Vaughn is expecting you at 9. He checked the time. 8:45. Vaughn Tech headquarters was 15 minutes away. Noah drove across the city in a daze, his mind spinning through everything that had happened in the last 12 hours. He should never have danced with her, should never have walked her out, should have just gone home after the champagne tower collapsed and stayed the hell away from billionaire relationship drama. But he kept seeing Selena's face when she'd admitted she was tired of being alone, the crack in her perfect mask, the fear underneath. The Vaughn Tech building rose 60 stories into the sky, all glass and steel and corporate ambition. Noah had worked here for 3 years and never made it past the 12th floor, where the architecture division was housed. Everything above that was executive territory, reserved for people who made decisions and closed deals and changed the world. He parked in visitor parking and headed for the lobby. Security stopped him immediately. "Name?" "Noah Bennett. I have a meeting with 42nd floor. Ms. Reeves is expecting you." The guard handed him a visitor badge. "Elevator's on your left." The elevator ride felt endless. Noah watched the floor numbers climb, his reflection staring back from polished steel doors. He looked tired, rumpled, completely out of place in his khakis and button-down while everyone else wore designer suits. The doors opened on the 42nd floor. Noah stepped out into a different world. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Abstract art that probably cost more than his house. Furniture that looked like it belonged in a museum. And behind a massive desk sat a woman in her 50s, perfectly composed, watching him with sharp eyes. "Mr. Bennett, I'm Caroline Reeves. Thank you for coming on short notice." "I didn't really have a choice." A small smile. "True. Ms. Vaughn is finishing a call. She'll be with you in a moment. Coffee?" "No, thank you." Noah sat in a chair that was either incredibly uncomfortable or he was just too stressed to relax. Through the windows, he could see the entire city sprawling below. The same view from last night's gala, but somehow different in daylight. More real. More intimidating. A door opened. Selena Vaughn emerged from an inner office, phone pressed to her ear. She looked nothing like the woman from last night. No diamonds, no designer gown, just tailored black pants, a white blouse, her hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. But the exhaustion was still there, dark circles under her eyes, tension in her shoulders. I understand your concerns, she was saying into the phone. But the stock dip is temporary. Market fluctuations based on personal speculation always correct themselves within a few days. Yes, I'm aware of the headlines. No, I'm not going to issue a statement. A pause. Because my personal life is not shareholders' business, Richard. Tell the board I'll see them Thursday. She hung up and looked at Noah. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. I'm sorry, Selena finally said. For what specifically? All of it. The photos, the headlines, the reporters at your daughter's school. How did you know about that? I called to apologize and your coworker told me. David something. He was very enthusiastic about the whole situation. Noah rubbed his face. Yeah, that sounds like David. Selena gestured toward her office. Can we talk privately? They moved into an office that was somehow both massive and minimalist. More windows, a desk that looked like a work of art, shelves lined with awards and framed magazine covers featuring Selena's face. She closed the door and leaned against it, suddenly looking fragile. I didn't think they'd publish the photos, she said quietly. Charity galas usually have privacy agreements, but someone sold their phone footage to the tabloids and now it's everywhere. I noticed. Your daughter, Emma, right? Is she okay? She's 6. She has no idea what's happening. But yes, she's fine. Relief crossed Selena's face. Good, I was worried. You were worried about my daughter? Of course, this is my fault. I put you in this position by asking you to… She stopped, struggling for words. I never should have involved you. I was desperate and stupid, and now you're paying for it. Noah studied her. She meant it. The remorse was genuine. It's not your fault, he said. I made the choice to help. Because you're a good person, which I took advantage of. Selena, let me fix this. She moved to her desk, pulling out a checkbook. Tell me what it costs to make this right. Lawyers to keep reporters away from your daughter. Private security. Moving expenses if you need to relocate temporarily. Whatever you need. I don't want your money. Everyone wants money. Not everyone. Selena looked up, frustrated. Then what do you want? An explanation. What happens now? Do we tell the truth? Admit it was a misunderstanding? Issue some kind of statement? We could. Selena set down the checkbook. But it wouldn't help. Why not? Because the story is already out there. Denying it just makes us look defensive. And honestly, she laughed bitterly, the truth sounds more unbelievable than the fiction. Billionaire asks stranger to fake romance for revenge. Stranger refuses but helps anyway out of basic human decency. Nobody would buy it. So we just let everyone think we're together? For now, until the media moves on to the next scandal. Selena sat on the edge of her desk. I know it's not fair to ask more from you, but this will blow over in a week if we don't feed the fire. Noah's phone buzzed. He glanced at it. Another text from a reporter requesting an interview. A week, he repeated. Maybe 2. And in the meantime, we ignore it. You go to work. I go to work. We don't comment, don't engage, don't do anything that gives them more material. Bullshit. It made sense. Logical, simple. But Noah couldn't shake the feeling he was missing something. Why are you really here? Selena asked suddenly. You asked me to come. I mean, why did you show up? Most people in your position would have ignored the call, or sent an angry email, or already sold their story to the highest bidder. I'm not most people. I'm starting to understand that. She studied him carefully. You're not going to ask for anything, are you? Not money, not a promotion, not even a favor down the road. No. Why not? Because I don't want to owe you anything, and I don't want you to owe me. Selena was quiet for a long moment. You're either the most genuine person I've ever met, or you're playing a very long game. I'm just a dad trying to get through the week without my daughter's school being overrun by reporters. Fair enough. Selena stood. Then here's what I can offer without you owing me anything. Vaughn Tech's legal team will handle any harassment you receive. If reporters show up at your house or Emma's school, one phone call and they'll deal with it. Consider it basic corporate responsibility. You got dragged into this because of me, so I'll make sure you're protected. That actually helps. Thank you. You're welcome. Well, they stood in awkward silence. Outside the windows, the city hummed with traffic and construction and a million lives intersecting. I should get to work, Noah said finally. Of course. Selena walked him to the door. Noah, for what it's worth, last night meant something to me. Not the fake dating part, the conversation, the honesty. I haven't had that in a long time. Yeah, me neither. He left before the moment could get more complicated. The elevator ride down felt longer than the ride up. Noah stared at his reflection again, wondering what the hell he'd just agreed to, letting a false story spread, pretending everything was normal while the media turned his quiet life into entertainment. But what choice did he have? His phone rang as he reached the lobby. Unknown number again. Noah answered. Hello? Mr. Bennett, this is Marcus Ashford. Noah stopped walking. How did you get this number, Matt? I have resources. Marcus's voice was smooth, confident. I wanted to speak with you about Selena. I have nothing to say to you. Hear me out, 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. Why would I? Because you seem like a smart man. And smart men don't get involved in situations they don't fully understand. Noah's jaw tightened. I understand plenty. Do you? Do you understand that Selena Vaughn destroys everything she touches? That she's incapable of genuine human connection? That this sudden romance is probably some calculated PR move to make me look bad? Sounds like you're the one making yourself look bad. Marcus laughed. You've got spine. I respect that. But you're out of your depth here. Selena is brilliant at manipulating people into thinking she's vulnerable when really she's just repositioning for advantage. Is that what you tell yourself to feel better about cheating on her? Silence on the other end. I didn't cheat, Marcus said coldly. Really? Because showing up at her event with your new girlfriend seems pretty fucking disrespectful for someone who claims moral high ground. That's not, look, I'm trying to help you. Selena will use you for whatever narrative she needs, then discard you when you're no longer useful. That's what she does. Goodbye, Marcus. Noah hung up. His hands were shaking, from anger, from adrenaline, from the surreal absurdity of getting threatening phone calls from billionaire ex-fiancés before 9 in the morning. He made it to his car before his phone rang again. This time it was David. Noah answered. What? Dude, you're famous. There's a betting pool in the office about how long you've been secretly dating her. We're not dating. That's not what the photos say. The photos are misleading. Whoa. So you're saying you didn't dance with Selena Vaughn last night? Didn't hold her hand? Didn't walk out of a charity gala together? That all happened, but it's complicated. Complicated means you're definitely together. David, listen, I'm happy for you, man. Seriously. You've been alone since Rachel died, and it's about time you don't. Noah's voice came out sharper than he intended. Don't bring Rachel into this. A pause. Sorry, I just meant... I know what you meant, but this isn't about moving on or finding someone new. It's just a misunderstanding that got photographed. Okay, sure, whatever you say. David didn't sound convinced. But for the record, the whole office is rooting for you. Great, that's exactly what I need. Noah hung up and sat in his car, forehead resting against the steering wheel. This was spiraling, fast. His phone buzzed with another text. This time from a number he did recognize, his mother. Noah Christopher Bennett. Why am I learning about your new girlfriend from the morning news? Call me immediately. Noah groaned. He couldn't deal with this right now. Couldn't explain to his mother that yes, he'd been photographed with a billionaire. No, they weren't actually dating. Yes, it looked really suspicious. No, he hadn't lost his mind. Instead, he drove to work. The architecture division occupied a large open floor plan, desks arranged in clusters, floor-to-ceiling windows, the constant hum of keyboards and low conversations. Noah had worked here for 3 years, and it had always felt comfortable, familiar. Today, everyone stopped what they were doing the moment he walked in. 30 pairs of eyes swiveled toward him. There he is! David jumped up from his desk, grinning like an idiot. The man of the hour. Shut up, David. Oh, come on, you have to give us something. How long have you been seeing her? Where'd you meet? Is she as intimidating in person as she looks on TV? I'm not answering any of those questions. Their supervisor, Margaret, emerged from her office. She was 60, no nonsense, and had been with Von Tech since before it was called Von Tech. Noah, my office. Now. Oh no. Noah followed her into the small glass-walled room she used for performance reviews and difficult conversations. Margaret closed the door and gestured to a chair. Sit. He sat. I'm going to ask you one question, Margaret said. And I need an honest answer. Are you in some kind of trouble? What? No. Why would... Because in my experience, when someone's personal life explodes into the news overnight, it's usually because something's gone very wrong. She studied him carefully. So I'll ask again. Are you in trouble? No, I swear. It's just a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding that has reporters calling my personal cell phone asking for comments about your character? Jesus, I'm sorry. Don't apologize to me. I told them you're one of the best architects we have, and they can go to hell. She sat on the edge of her desk. But I need to know if this is going to become a problem for the team. If you're going to be distracted, or if there's going to be drama, or if there won't be, I promise. This whole thing will blow over in a few days and everything goes back to normal. Margaret didn't look convinced. Noah, I've known you for 3 years. You show up on time, you do good work, you keep your head down. This, she gestured vaguely, whatever this is, it doesn't match the person I know. I know, I didn't plan any of it. So what happened? Well, Noah hesitated. Then, because Margaret had always been fair with him, he told her the truth. Not all of it, but enough. The charity gala. Selena's ex showing up. Noah stepping in because it felt like the right thing to do. The photos that made everything look more significant than it was. Margaret listened without interrupting. When he finished, she was quiet for a long moment. You helped her because she needed help, Margaret finally said. Not because she was rich or powerful or could do something for your career. Yeah. You're either very noble or very stupid. Probably both. A small smile. Well, you're honest about it, at least. She stood. Get back to work. And Noah? If this does become a problem, reporters showing up here, disrupting the office, we'll deal with it. But keep me informed. I don't like surprises. Understood. Thank you. Noah returned to his desk, hyper-aware of everyone watching him. He opened his computer and tried to focus on the housing development proposal he'd been working on before his life imploded. But his phone kept buzzing, texts from old friends he hadn't spoken to in years, Facebook messages from people he barely remembered from college, even a voicemail from his high school girlfriend asking if he wanted to catch up sometime. By lunch, Noah had turned his phone completely off. He ate a sandwich in his car, parked in a far corner of the garage where nobody would find him. Just 15 minutes of peace. No questions, no cameras, no... Someone knocked on his window. Noah nearly jumped out of his skin. A woman stood outside. Mid-30s, sharp suit, recorder in hand. Mr. Bennett? Jennifer Kwan, Business Insider. I'd love to ask you a few... Noah started the car and drove away, watching the reporter shrink in his rearview mirror. This was insane. He couldn't go home. They'd probably found his address by now. Couldn't go to Emma's school. Reporters were already there. Couldn't hide at work because people kept staring and whispering. Noah's hands tightened on the steering wheel. He'd spent 3 years rebuilding a quiet, stable life after Rachel died. 3 years creating routines and boundaries and safe spaces for Emma to grow up without chaos. And now, because he'd tried to help someone, all of it was falling apart. His phone rang despite being turned off. Someone must have left a voicemail that triggered a notification. Noah pulled over and checked. The voicemail was from Selena. Noah, it's me. I just found out Marcus called you. I'm so sorry. He has no right to harass you. Please call me back. We need to talk about what happens next. What happens next? Noah closed his eyes. He could walk away. Tell Selena to handle her own mess. Issue a statement saying they barely knew each other and the whole thing was blown out of proportion. Take his life back before it got more complicated. But Emma's voice echoed in his head. Sometimes you step in when someone needs help, even if it's not your problem. His own words, his own philosophy. And Selena needed help, real help. Not money or power or corporate solutions, but someone who saw her as human instead of commodity. Noah picked up his phone and dialed. Selena answered on the first ring. Noah, we need to actually talk. Not in your office, somewhere private. When? Tonight, after I put Emma to bed. Where? Noah thought for a moment. You know the old harbor park? East side, near the fishing pier. I'll find it. 10 o'clock. And Selena? Yeah? No assistants, no lawyers, no corporate crisis management, just you and me figuring this out. A long pause. Okay, Selena said quietly. I'll be there. The rest of the day crawled by like something wounded. Noah kept his head down, worked on proposals he could barely focus on, and dodged 3 more attempts by coworkers to ask about Selena. By the time 5 o'clock hit, he practically ran to his car. Emma's school pickup was usually his favorite part of the day. Watching her burst out of the building with whatever project she'd made, today it was a papier-mâché volcano that looked more like a lumpy potato. Listening to her chatter about recess and library time and how Jason said girls couldn't be astronauts. But Emma told him he was stupid because Sally Ride existed. But today, 2 reporters were waiting in the parking lot. Noah recognized them immediately. News vans parked across the street, cameras ready. He pulled up to the pickup zone, and Emma came running, volcano clutched to her chest. Daddy, look what I made, Ms. Rodriguez said we're doing eruptions tomorrow with baking soda and... Get in, sweetheart, quickly. Emma's smile faltered. Why? Just get in. I'll explain in a minute. She climbed into the back seat, confused and a little scared. Noah pulled away fast, watching the reporters scramble for their cameras. Daddy? What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Noah forced his voice to stay calm. Those people just wanted to ask me some work questions, and I don't feel like talking right now. Oh. Emma examined her volcano. Can we stop for ice cream? Not today. But you always say Friday is ice cream day. I know, baby, but today we need to go straight home. But Emma was quiet for a moment. Then, in a small voice, Did I do something bad? Noah's chest tightened. What? No. Emma, you didn't do anything wrong. Then why are you acting weird? I'm not... He stopped, took a breath. You're right. I am acting weird. I'm sorry. Some stuff happened at work that's making today stressful, but none of it is your fault. What kind of stuff? How did you explain to a 6-year-old that her father had accidentally become tabloid fodder? That strangers were taking pictures and writing stories and turning their private life into entertainment? Boring grown-up stuff, Noah said. Nothing you need to worry about. They drove home in silence. Emma hummed to herself, swinging her legs, oblivious to the fact that their quiet life was unraveling. The house looked normal when they pulled up. No reporters, no cameras, just their small 2-story in a neighborhood where kids rode bikes and people knew each other's names. Noah had bought the place 4 years ago, back when Rachel was still alive and they were planning for a second kid. Now it was just him and Emma, and most of the room stayed empty. Inside, Emma immediately set up her volcano on the kitchen table. Can we do the eruption now? We don't have baking soda, but... Yes, we do. I saw it in the cabinet last week. Tomorrow, okay? I promise we'll do it tomorrow. Emma pouted but didn't argue. She understood when her dad was really stressed, even if she didn't understand why. Noah made dinner, spaghetti, because it was easy, and Emma would actually eat it. They sat at the kitchen table, Emma talking about her day while Noah tried to listen but kept checking his phone for messages. Nothing from Selena. 3 more calls from unknown numbers, a text from his mother that just said, "Call me." Daddy, you're not listening. Noah looked up. Sorry, sweetheart. What were you saying? I said Jason brought his hamster for show and tell, and it pooped on Ms. Rodriguez's desk. That's... Wow. Poor Ms. Rodriguez. Emma giggled. She said it was fine, but her face went all red. After dinner, Noah ran Emma's bath and sat on the closed toilet lid while she played with her rubber ducks. She made them have elaborate conversations. One duck was a scientist, another was an astronaut, a third was apparently the president of the ocean. Daddy? Yeah? Are you sad? The question caught him off guard. Why would you think I'm sad? Because you have your sad face. The one you get when you're thinking about mommy. Noah's throat went tight. Emma was too perceptive for her own good. I'm not sad, he said. Just tired. Because of the work stuff? Yeah, because of the work stuff. Emma considered this while making the president duck negotiate with the scientist duck. When I'm tired, you tell me to rest. Maybe you should rest too. You're very smart, you know that? I know, she grinned, gap-toothed and proud. After bath time, Noah read her 3 chapters of the book they were working through. Something about a girl who discovers a magical library. Emma fell asleep before the 3rd chapter ended, her face peaceful against the pillow. Noah sat there for a moment, just watching her breathe. This was what mattered. Not headlines, not billionaires, not whatever chaos was happening in the world outside this room. Just his daughter, safe and happy and loved. He kissed her forehead and turned off the light. Downstairs, Noah changed into jeans and a jacket. The clock read 9:30. He had half an hour before meeting Selena. His phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. I know what you're doing. You think you can replace me? You're nobody. She'll destroy you like she destroys everyone. Marcus. Had to be. Noah deleted the message without responding. Another text, this one from Selena. I'm leaving now. See you soon. Noah locked up the house and headed out, leaving a note for the babysitter who'd arrived 20 minutes earlier. Mrs. Chen lived 2 houses down and had been watching Emma since she was 4. She didn't ask questions, just settled onto the couch with her knitting and told Noah to take his time. Harbor Park was on the east side of Blackthorn City, where the urban sprawl gave way to industrial docks and old fishing piers. During the day, it was full of joggers and families. At night, it was mostly empty, just the occasional homeless person and teenagers looking for somewhere to make out. Noah parked near the pier and walked out onto the wooden planks. The water lapped against the posts below, dark and rhythmic. City lights reflected on the surface like broken glass. He was early. Noah sat on a bench and stared at the skyline. Somewhere in that forest of glass towers, Selena was probably in a car being driven by someone paid to not ask questions. Her life was so different from his, it was almost funny they'd ended up in this situation together. Almost. A car pulled up 10 minutes later. Not the Mercedes from last night, something smaller, less conspicuous. The door opened and Selena stepped out. She'd changed too. No business suit, just jeans, a sweater, her hair down around her shoulders. She looked younger like this, more vulnerable. Selena walked toward the pier, hands shoved in her pockets. Hi, she said. Hi. She sat beside him on the bench, leaving space between them. For a while, neither spoke. Just listened to the water and the distant hum of traffic. I've never been here before, Selena finally said. I've lived in this city for 12 years and I've never come to this park. It's quiet. Emma and I come here sometimes on weekends. What's she like? Your daughter? Noah smiled despite everything. Loud, curious. She wants to be an astronaut one week and a marine biologist the next. Last month, she decided she was going to invent a robot that could clean her room for her. Did it work? She got as far as taping a broom to her toy car before realizing she still had to push it herself. Selena laughed softly. She sounds wonderful. She is. Noah turned to look at her. That's why we're here. Because whatever's happening between you and Marcus and the media, it can't touch her. I need your word on that. You have it? I already told my legal team to handle any reporters who get near her school. It's not just reporters. It's everything. The attention, the chaos. Emma's 6 years old. She just lost her mother 3 years ago. I've spent every day since trying to give her stability, and now strangers are taking pictures and asking questions, and he stopped, struggling to keep his voice steady. I can't let her grow up thinking the world is this insane. I understand. Do you? Because from where I'm sitting, this is just another problem for you to solve. Call your lawyers, issue some statements, wait for the news cycle to move on. But for me and Emma, this is our actual life. Selena was quiet for a long moment. You're right. I don't fully understand what it's like to have a child depending on you, but I do understand what it's like to have your private life turned into a spectacle. Then help me protect her. Yet, sorry, I will. I am. Selena pulled her knees up to her chest, wrapping her arms around them. I talked to my PR team this afternoon. They think the best strategy is exactly what we discussed. Ignore the story, don't feed it, let it die naturally. How long will that take? Depends. If nothing else happens, maybe a week. But if Marcus keeps making noise, he texted me tonight, calling me nobody, saying you'll destroy me. He's trying to scare you off. Why? What does he gain from any of this? Selena was quiet. When she spoke again, her voice was careful. Marcus and I were together for 2 years, engaged for 18 months. During that time, I was building Vaughn Tech into what it is now, working 80-hour weeks, closing deals, making decisions that affected thousands of jobs. Marcus hated it. He wanted me home more, wanted me to prioritize the relationship, said I was choosing work over him. Were you? Yes? Because the work mattered. Because I was building something that would last longer than any relationship. Because she stopped. Because I didn't trust him. Even before I found out about the embezzling, I knew something was wrong. He was too interested in my business contacts, too eager to be involved in my deals. So you ended it. I exposed his fraud and ended it, which ruined his reputation in our industry. Selena stared at the water. Marcus has spent the last year trying to rebuild his image, position himself as the wronged party, the fiancé who got dumped because his girlfriend cared more about money than love. And now you show up with someone new. Exactly. It destroys his narrative, makes him look like the bitter ex instead of the victim. She glanced at Noah. That's why he's going after you. You're proof that maybe I'm capable of connection after all, that maybe the problem was him, not me. Noah processed this. So we're pawns in his revenge plot. More or less. That's messed up. Welcome to my world. They sat in silence again. A boat horn sounded in the distance. Somewhere across the water, a dog barked. I Googled you today, Selena said suddenly. Noah raised an eyebrow. Find anything interesting? Not much. You don't have social media. Your name appears in a few architecture publications from 5 years ago, something about sustainable housing design. There's an obituary for your wife. She paused. I'm sorry about Rachel. Thank you. The article said she was a teacher, Shay. 3rd grade, she loved it. Noah's chest tightened the way it always did when he talked about Rachel. Car accident, drunk driver ran a red light. She died on impact. That's terrible. Emma was 3. Barely understood what death meant. For months after, she'd ask when Mommy was coming home. The memory still hurt. I had no idea how to explain it, how to make a 3-year-old understand that her mother wasn't coming back, ever. Selena reached over and took his hand. The gesture was simple, human, completely unexpected. You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, she said quietly. I don't mind. It's just nobody asks anymore. Everyone assumes enough time has passed that I'm fine, that I've moved on. Have you? No. Yes. I don't know. Noah stared at their joined hands. I've learned to function, to be the parent Emma needs, to get through the days without falling apart. But moved on? That implies I've left Rachel behind somehow. And I haven't. She's still everywhere. In Emma's laugh. In the house we bought together. In the fact that I'm raising our daughter alone and constantly wondering if I'm doing it right. You are. You don't know that. Yes, I do. Because Emma sounds happy. Because you dropped everything to protect her from reporters today. Because you're sitting here telling a stranger about your dead wife instead of taking the easy way out and walking away from this mess. Noah looked at her, really looked at her. Noah. In the dim light from the pier lamps, Selena looked nothing like the ice queen from the tabloids. She looked tired and real, and maybe just as lost as he felt. Can I ask you something? He said. Sure. What do you actually want from me? Selena blinked. What do you mean? Everyone wants something. Your ex wanted your business connections. Your investors want profit. The media wants a story. But what do you want? She was quiet for so long, Noah thought she might not answer. I want to stop feeling alone, she finally said. I want to talk to someone who doesn't have an agenda, who doesn't want anything from me except honesty. She looked at him. Is that pathetic? No, it's human, At. I'm not supposed to be human. I'm supposed to be the ice queen, cold, calculating, untouchable. Who says? Everyone. The media. My board. Investors who think showing emotion makes me weak. Selena pulled her hand away, wrapping her arms around herself. I built this entire empire by never letting anyone see me vulnerable. And now here I am, sitting on a pier with a man I barely know, admitting I'm lonely. It's brave, Noah interrupted. I was going to say stupid. It's both, but mostly brave. Selena laughed, but it sounded sad. You're very kind to someone who's made your life hell. You didn't make my life hell. The situation did. There's a difference. Is there? Yeah, because you didn't ask for those photos, didn't want the headlines. You're dealing with the same chaos I am, except I have money and lawyers and resources to make it stop. You don't. True, but I have something you don't. What's that? Noah gestured at the city skyline. I can walk away. My life doesn't depend on what strangers think of me. Yours does. Selena followed his gaze. I've never thought about it that way. Most people don't. They see the money and power and assume you have freedom. But you're trapped by different things. Expectations, responsibility, the constant need to maintain an image. You're surprisingly insightful for someone who works in architecture. Yum. Mon certain mai. Noah grinned. We're not all just drawing buildings, you know. Clearly. They fell into comfortable silence. It struck Noah how easy this was, sitting with Selena, talking about things that mattered. He hadn't had a conversation like this since Rachel died. Hadn't let himself be vulnerable with anyone except Emma. His phone buzzed. Text from Mrs. Chen. Emma's still asleep. Take your time. Everything okay? Selena asked. Yeah, just the babysitter checking in. You're a good father, E. I'm trying to be. That's all anyone can do. Try. Noah studied her profile. Can I ask you something else? You're full of questions tonight. Last night, when you asked me to dance, was any of it real, or was it all just strategy? Selena turned to face him. What do you mean? The crying, the honesty, telling me you were tired of being alone. Was that genuine, or were you playing a role? Why would I play a role with you? Because that's what you do. You're brilliant at reading people, figuring out what they respond to, adjusting yourself accordingly. So I'm asking, was last night real? Selena's expression shifted. Surprise, hurt, maybe respect. Yes, she said quietly. It was real. Terrifyingly real. I don't break down in public. I don't cry in front of strangers. But something about you, she stopped searching for words. You didn't want anything from me. You just saw someone who needed help, and you helped. And that was so unfamiliar that I didn't know how to handle it. So you cried. So I cried, and admitted things I've never admitted to anyone, and let you walk me out of my own event like I was someone who needed protecting instead of someone who protects herself. Everyone needs protecting sometimes. Not me. I'm the Ice Queen, remember? You're a person pretending to be the Ice Queen because you think that's what survival requires. Selena stared at him. How do you do that? Do what? See through everything? I've spent years building walls and you just... She gestured helplessly. You just see right through them like they don't exist. Maybe I'm looking for something different than everyone else. What are you looking for? Noah considered the question. The truth, I guess. I'm tired of games. Of people saying one thing and meaning another. Of pretending everything's fine when it's not. That's a rare quality. Or a stupid one. No. Rare. Selena pulled her knees closer. Can I tell you something? Sure. When I saw those headlines this morning, my first thought wasn't about damage control or PR strategy. It was wondering if you were okay. If Emma was okay. If I'd ruined your life by being selfish. She paused. That's not normal for me. Usually I compartmentalize, separate personal feelings from business decisions. But with you, I can't. Why not? I don't know. Maybe because you're the first person in years who's been honest with me without expecting anything in return. Or maybe you're just tired of being alone. That too. Usman. Noah's phone buzzed again. This time it was a news alert. Vaughn Tech stock dips 3% amid CEO romance speculation. He showed it to Selena. Your board's gonna love that. She glanced at it and shrugged. They'll get over it. The stock always recovers. You're not worried? I'm too tired to be worried. Besides, the fundamentals are sound. This is just noise. 3% seems like expensive noise. Welcome to my world. Everything I do affects stock prices. If I'm photographed looking tired, investors panic. If I smile too much, they think I'm not taking the business seriously. There's no winning. Noah thought about what Marcus had said on the phone, about Selena being incapable of genuine connection, about her destroying everything she touched. He's wrong, Noah said. Who? Marcus. You're not incapable of connection. You're just surrounded by people who make connection dangerous. Selena looked at him with something like wonder. How do you know what Marcus said? Lucky guess. He called me today, tried to warn me off. Said you manipulate people and discard them when they're no longer useful. And you don't believe him. I believe he's a bitter ex trying to justify why his relationship failed by blaming you instead of looking at his own behavior. You're giving me a lot of credit for someone you barely know. I know enough. I know you apologized for dragging me into this mess. I know you sent lawyers to protect Emma's school. I know you showed up here tonight without assistants or bodyguards because I asked you to. Noah paused. I know you're scared people will see you as weak if you admit you're lonely, and I know that takes more strength than pretending you're fine. Selena's eyes filled with tears. Stop. Why? Because you're making it impossible to maintain any emotional distance. Good. That's not... She wiped her eyes, frustrated. I don't do this. I don't let people in. I don't cry on park benches with men I barely know. I don't... Selena. She looked at him. It's okay to be human, Noah said gently. Even ice queens are allowed to melt sometimes. That broke her. Selena started crying. Really crying. Not the careful tears from last night, but messy, choking sobs that shook her entire body. Noah didn't try to stop her or comfort her with empty words. He just moved closer and put his arm around her shoulders while she fell apart. They sat like that for a long time, Selena crying into his shoulder while Noah held her steady. The water lapped against the pier posts. The city hummed in the distance, and for a few minutes, nothing else mattered. Eventually, the crying slowed. Selena pulled back, wiping her face with her sleeve. I'm sorry, she said. That was human. Real. Nothing to apologize for. I got mascara all over your jacket. I'll survive. She laughed weakly. You're taking this very well. I've had practice. Emma cries about once a week over something, usually because I made the wrong-shaped pancakes. Wrong-shaped? Last week she wanted Jupiter pancakes and I made Saturn. Apparently that's a crisis. Selena smiled despite the tears still on her face. She sounds very particular. She's 6. Everything's a crisis at 6. They fell quiet again. Noah kept his arm around Selena's shoulders, and she didn't pull away. It felt natural, comfortable, dangerous. We should probably talk about what happens next, Selena finally said. I thought we agreed to ignore it. That was before the stock dropped 3%, before Marcus started harassing you, before this turned into something bigger than just tabloid gossip. Noah pulled his arm back. What are you suggesting? I don't know, but ignoring it isn't working. The story's growing instead of dying down. She turned to face him. We need a better strategy. Such as? We could lean into it. Noah stared at her. What? Hear me out. Right now the media is speculating, making up stories, turning us into characters in some romance novel. But what if we controlled the narrative instead? What if we pretended to actually date? Yes? That's insane. Is it? We're already being photographed together, already linked in every headline. Why not use it to our advantage? Because it's a lie. So is ignoring each other while everyone assumes we're together. At least this way we decide how the story goes. Noah stood up, pacing the pier. You're talking about a fake relationship, like some romantic comedy plot. I'm talking about mutual protection. You need the media to leave Emma alone. I need my board to see me as stable instead of emotionally compromised. We help each other until the storm passes. And what happens when it doesn't pass? When we have to keep pretending for weeks? Months? It won't be months, 6 weeks at most, just until the next big scandal breaks and everyone forgets about us. 6 weeks, Noah repeated. 6 weeks of lying to everyone. My daughter, my co-workers, your investors. We wouldn't be lying to Emma. You said no lies around her, remember? We'd just be spending time together, getting to know each other. That's not a lie. It's not exactly the truth either. Selena stood, moving closer. Noah, I know this is a lot to ask. I know it's complicated and strange and probably a terrible idea. But I'm desperate. My board is threatening to force me out if the stock keeps dropping. Marcus is spreading lies about my character. And her voice cracked. I can't do this alone anymore. You're asking me to save you. I'm asking you to help me. There's a difference. Noah looked at her, at the vulnerability in her eyes, the fear barely hidden beneath the surface. He should say no, should walk away from this disaster before it consumed his entire life, should protect Emma from the chaos that came with being linked to someone like Selena Vaughn. But he kept hearing his own words from last night. Everyone deserves someone who'll walk out with them instead of watching them fall apart alone. If I agree to this, Noah said slowly, we do it my way. Okay, chashishe. No lies around Emma. She knows we're friends. That's it. Agreed. No public displays beyond what's necessary. I'm not kissing you for cameras or holding hands at events just to sell the story. Fair enough. And the moment this starts affecting Emma negatively, the moment she gets confused or scared or uncomfortable, we end it immediately. Selena nodded. I understand. One more thing. What? You have to actually let me in. No more Ice Queen act when it's just us. If we're doing this, I need to know the real you, not the performance. Selena was quiet for a long moment. That's terrifying. I know. What if you don't like the real me? Then at least I'll know the truth. She studied his face, searching for something. You're serious? Completely. 6 weeks. No lies to Emma. Real honesty between us. And we end it if your daughter gets hurt. That's the deal. Selena held out her hand. Then we have an agreement. Noah looked at her outstretched hand, at the woman who'd walked into his life less than 24 hours ago and turned everything upside down. He was going to regret this. Absolutely, completely regret it. But he shook her hand anyway. 6 weeks, he said. 6 weeks, Selena agreed. And just like that, Noah Bennett became the fake boyfriend of the most powerful woman in Blackthorn City. What could possibly go wrong? The first test of their arrangement came 3 days later, on a Tuesday morning that started with Emma spilling orange juice all over her school uniform. It's fine, Noah said, grabbing paper towels while Emma stood frozen in horror. You've got that backup shirt, right? I hate the backup shirt. It's itchy. Emma, and now my volcano project is all wet, and Miss Rodriguez is going to think I'm careless, and the doorbell rang. Noah froze. It was 7:45 in the morning. Nobody rang their doorbell at 7:45 unless something was wrong. Stay here, he told Emma, moving toward the front door. Through the peephole, he saw Selena Vaughn standing on his porch holding 2 coffee cups and what looked like a bag from the bakery downtown. Noah opened the door. What are you doing here? Good morning to you too. Selena held up the coffees. I brought breakfast. We need to be seen together in normal situations. Remember? Starting with your morning routine. My morning routine involves a 6-year-old covered in orange juice and a ruined science project. Not exactly photo-worthy. Perfect. Relatability sells better than perfection anyway. Before Noah could argue, Emma appeared behind him. Daddy, who's... She stopped, staring at Selena. Whoa, you're really pretty. Selena's professional smile softened into something genuine. Thank you. You must be Emma. How do you know my name? Your dad told me about you. He says you're building a volcano for school? Emma's eyes lit up. Yes, but I spilled juice on it and now... She gestured dramatically at the kitchen disaster. Can I see it? Emma grabbed Selena's hand, completely comfortable with the stranger in expensive clothes, and pulled her toward the kitchen. Noah followed, feeling like he'd lost control of the situation entirely. The kitchen was a war zone. orange juice pooling on the table, the paper mache volcano listing dangerously to one side. Emma's backup uniform crumpled on a chair. Selena surveyed the scene without judgment. Okay, first things first. Emma, go change into that backup shirt. I know it's itchy, but we'll deal with that later. But trust me on this one. Something in Selena's tone made Emma actually listen. She ran upstairs without further argument. Noah stared. How did you do that? Executive presence, works on board members, works on 6-year-olds. Selena set down the coffee and bakery bag, rolling up her sleeves. Now, let's save this volcano, Swatki. Mods. You're going to fix a first-grade science project in designer clothes? I'm going to supervise while you fix it. I don't actually know anything about paper mache. Despite everything, Noah laughed. They worked quickly, Noah carefully drying the volcano with paper towels while Selena cleaned up the juice. Emma thundered back downstairs wearing the itchy backup shirt and immediately started giving instructions about how the crater needed to look for the baking soda eruption. It has to be deep enough, she explained seriously to Selena. Otherwise the lava just spills everywhere and doesn't look real. That makes sense. Your dad's doing a good job then? Emma examined Noah's work critically. It's okay, but the sides are still bumpy. Perfection takes time, Selena said. Sometimes bumpy is more realistic anyway. Really? Absolutely. Real volcanoes aren't perfect. They're messy and unpredictable and covered in rough edges. Emma considered this. Like Mount Vesuvius? Exactly like Mount Vesuvius. Noah glanced at Selena, surprised. You know about Pompeii? I did go to college, art history minor. The Ice Queen studied art history? The Ice Queen has layers. She handed Emma a napkin from the bakery bag. Also, I brought croissants, chocolate and regular. Emma's eyes went huge. Chocolate croissants for breakfast? Is that allowed? Selena looked at Noah. He should say no. Should maintain the rules about healthy breakfasts and sugar limits. But Emma was looking at him with such hope, and the morning had already gone sideways, and honestly, the croissants smelled amazing. One chocolate, one regular, Noah said. And you eat the regular one first. Deal. They sat at the kitchen table, Noah, Emma, and a billionaire eating bakery croissants while a paper mache volcano dried between them. It was surreal, completely absurd, and somehow it worked. Emma chattered about school between bites, telling Selena about Jason's hamster and the library book about octopuses she was reading, and how she wanted to be a marine biologist now, instead of an astronaut. Why not both? Selena asked. You can be both? Sure. You could study ocean life on other planets. I bet Europa has some interesting creatures under all that ice. Emma's entire face lit up. Europa is Jupiter's moon. I know. It's one of the most promising places to look for extraterrestrial life. You know about space? A little. I find it fascinating. Noah watched them talk, something tightening in his chest. Emma hadn't been this animated with an adult, besides him, since Rachel died. She was usually shy around strangers, taking weeks to warm up to new teachers or neighbors. But with Selena, she was completely comfortable, like they'd known each other for years instead of 20 minutes. His phone buzzed, text from David. Dude, there's a photographer across the street from your house. Black sedan. Just FYI. Noah glanced out the window. Sure enough, a car was parked 2 houses down, someone with a camera visible in the front seat. We're being watched, he said quietly to Selena. She didn't even look. I know. That's why I'm here. You planned this. I planned to be seen having coffee with you before work. The volcano crisis was an unexpected bonus. She smiled at Emma. Your dad's very protective. It's sweet. He worries a lot, Emma said, especially about stranger danger. That's because your dad's smart. You should always be careful around people you don't know. But you're not a stranger anymore. You know about volcanoes and space. That makes you a friend. Selena's expression shifted, surprise mixed with something that looked like emotion quickly suppressed. I'd like to be your friend. Then you are. Friends don't need permission. They just happen. Your daughter, Selena said to Noah, is remarkably wise. She gets it from her mother. The words came out automatically. Noah immediately regretted them. Bringing up Rachel while Selena sat at their kitchen table felt wrong somehow, like mixing past and present in ways that shouldn't overlap. But Selena just nodded. She must have been wonderful. She was. Emma looked between them, sensing the shift in mood. Mommy died when I was little. I don't remember her much, but Daddy says she would have loved my volcano. I'm sure she would have, Selena said gently. They finished breakfast in comfortable quiet. Then Noah glanced at the clock and swore under his breath. We're going to be late. I'll drive you, Selena offered. You don't have to, The photographer's outside anyway. Might as well give them something to photograph. 10 minutes later, Noah found himself in the passenger seat of Selena's car, a different one than the Mercedes. This one an Audi that probably cost more than his annual salary, with Emma buckled in the back, clutching her slightly damp volcano. This is fancy, Emma announced. It smells like new car. That's because it is a new car, Selena said, pulling away from the curb. I got it last month. Do you have a lot of cars? A few. How many is a few? Emma, Noah warned, don't be nosy. I'm not nosy. I'm curious. Ms. Rodriguez says curiosity is how we learn. Selena laughed. Miss Rodriguez sounds smart. I have 4 cars, which is probably excessive. What are the other ones? A Mercedes, a Tesla, and a vintage Corvette. I never drive but can't bring myself to sell. Why can't you sell it? Because my father gave it to me before he died. It was his favorite car. Emma was quiet for a moment, processing this. My mommy gave Daddy her recipe book before she died. He cries sometimes when he looks at it. Noah's chest tightened. Emma, it's okay to cry about people you miss, Emma continued matter-of-factly. That's what my therapist says. Selena glanced at Noah, eyebrows raised. He shrugged, uncomfortable. They'd started Emma in therapy 6 months after Rachel's death, when the nightmares got bad. It helped, most of the time. They pulled up to Emma's school. The principal was waiting by the front entrance, apparently prepared for the media circus that might follow. I'll walk her in, Noah said. We'll both walk her in, Selena corrected. She got out of the car, moving around to open Emma's door with practiced ease. Emma grabbed her volcano and Selena's hand simultaneously. Come on, I want to show you my classroom. They walked through the front doors together, Noah hyper-aware of the stares following them. Other parents dropping off their kids. Teachers doing morning supervision. Everyone watching the Billionaire CEO holding hands with a first grader while cameras clicked from the street. Ms. Rodriguez met them at the classroom door. Emma, good morning. Ms. Rodriguez, this is Selena. She's my dad's friend. She knows about volcanoes and space and has 4 cars. Mamas. Wow, nice to meet you. Ms. Rodriguez shook Selena's hand, clearly starstruck. The volcano looks great, by the way, Selena said. Very realistic crater formation. Emma beamed. That's because we fixed it this morning after the juice accident. Juice accident? Ms. Rodriguez looked questionable. Long story, Noah said. She's ready for the eruption demonstration? Absolutely. We're doing it right after morning circle. Emma hugged Noah's leg. Love you, Daddy. Love you too, sweetheart. Have a good day. Then, unexpectedly, Emma hugged Selena too, quick and fierce, like it was the most natural thing in the world. Selena froze for half a second before hugging back. Have fun with your volcano. I will. Bye. Emma ran into the classroom, already chattering to her friends about the chocolate croissant and the fancy car. Noah and Selena walked back to the parking lot in silence. The photographers were more obvious now. 3 cars instead of 1, cameras tracking their movement. She's amazing, Selena said quietly once they were back in the Audi. Yeah, she is. I wasn't expecting... She stopped, gripping the steering wheel. I wasn't expecting her to hug me. Emma hugs everyone. Don't take it personally. I'm not. I'm just... Selena started the car. I can't remember the last time someone hugged me without wanting something. The vulnerability in her voice made Noah's chest ache. You really are lonely, aren't you? Desperately. They drove in silence for a few blocks. Then Noah said, "Thank you for this morning, for helping with the volcano and bringing breakfast and not making it weird. I liked it. The chaos, the orange juice disaster, your daughter explaining art history to me via Mount Vesuvius." Selena smiled. "My mornings usually involve conference calls and stock reports. This was better. Even with the itchy backup shirt drama? Especially with that." Selena dropped Noah at Von Tech headquarters. Before he got out, she said, "We're having dinner tonight, 7 o'clock, that new Italian place downtown." "We are. The reservation's already made. My assistant will send you details." "You could have asked first." "Would you have said yes?" "Probably not." "Exactly. So I'm telling you instead, 7 o'clock. Wear something nice." She paused. "And Noah? Thank you for letting me meet Emma. I know that wasn't easy. It wasn't supposed to happen at all." "I know, but I'm glad it did." Noah got out and watched the Audi pull away, heading toward whatever billionaire obligations filled Selena's calendar. His own day felt impossibly mundane by comparison. Meetings about building permits and sustainable materials, lunch at his desk, the constant background hum of coworker gossip about his love life. David cornered him around 2 o'clock. "So, Selena Vaughn drove you to work this morning. How did you—" "There are literally photos all over social media. She's holding hands with a little girl. Is that Emma?" Noah's protective instincts flared immediately. "Don't—" "Relax. Her face isn't visible in any of the shots, just from behind." "But dude—" David sat on the edge of Noah's desk. "This is serious. She's meeting your daughter? After what, 3 days?" "It's not like that." "Then what's it like?" Noah had no idea how to answer that question. The truth was too complicated. The lie would be too obvious. "We're taking things slow," he finally said. "Getting to know each other." "By introducing her to your kid immediately?" "It just happened. She stopped by this morning and Emma was there and it wasn't planned." David studied him carefully. "You like her?" "Actually like her. This isn't just some random fling. I barely know her." "That's not a denial." "David, I'm just saying, be careful. She's great. Obviously, she's a literal billionaire genius, but you've got Emma to think about. You can't just—" "I know what I'm doing." "Do you? Because from where I'm sitting, you look like a guy who's way out of his depth and pretending everything's fine." Noah wanted to argue, to insist he had everything under control. But David was right. He was out of his depth, drowning, actually. And the worst part was that he couldn't tell anyone the truth, that this whole relationship was an arrangement designed to protect them both from media scrutiny while giving them time to figure out what the hell they actually wanted from each other. His phone buzzed. Email from Selena's assistant with dinner details. 7 o'clock at Marcello's. Business casual. Reservation under Vaughn. Another email arrived seconds later. This one directly from Selena. "Bring a jacket. The restaurant keeps it cold. Also, how did Emma's volcano eruption go?" Despite everything, Noah smiled. He texted back, "No word yet. I'll ask her at pickup. Why does it matter?" The response was immediate. "Because I helped fix it. I'm invested in the outcome. You barely touched it. Emotional support counts as helping." "Does it?" "Absolutely. I provide strategic guidance. You provide manual labor. That's teamwork." Noah found himself grinning at his phone like an idiot. Around him, the office buzzed with normal Tuesday afternoon energy. People complaining about deadlines, someone's lunch smelling up the microwave, the eternal debate about optimal conference room temperature. But Noah was texting the billionaire about first-grade science projects and feeling more alive than he had in years. This was dangerous. The rest of the day passed in a blur of work and media monitoring. Von Tech's stock had recovered slightly, up 1% after photos of Selena looking happy and relaxed with Noah and Emma circulated online. Apparently, investors liked seeing their Ice Queen CEO in domestic situations. Marcus hadn't gone quietly, though. He'd given an interview to some financial blog, making veiled comments about Selena's pattern of using relationships for corporate advantage, and warning that people who get close to her always regret it eventually. Noah read the interview during his lunch break and felt his blood pressure spike. The implications were clear. Marcus was positioning himself as the concerned ex, trying to protect Noah from making the same mistakes he had. It was manipulation disguised as caring, and it was working. The comment section was full of people speculating about Selena's motives, questioning whether Noah was being used, wondering if the whole relationship was some calculated PR move, which technically it was, but not the way they thought. Noah picked up Emma from school at 3:30. She came running out with the volcano clutched triumphantly overhead. "Daddy, it worked! The lava went everywhere, and Ms. Rodriguez said it was the best eruption she'd seen all year." "That's amazing, sweetheart." And I told everyone that Selena helped fix it, and now Jason wants to meet her because he thinks anyone who knows about space is cool. Noah helped Emma into the car. Wait, Noah, securing the volcano carefully in the passenger seat. "About Selena. She's really nice. Can she come over again?" "Maybe. But Emma, I need you to understand something." "What?" "How did you explain a fake relationship to a 6-year-old? How did you draw boundaries around something that was already blurring past recognition?" "Selena and I are getting to know each other," Noah said carefully. "She might come around sometimes, but that doesn't mean we're not. Are you dating her? It's complicated." That's what grown-ups say when the answer is yes, but they don't want to admit it. "When did you get so smart?" "Shit." Emma grinned. "I've always been smart. You just notice more now." They drove home, Emma chattering about the volcano and her friend Sophie's new puppy and how she'd decided marine biology was definitely better than astronomy because octopuses were amazing. At home, Noah made dinner while Emma did homework at the kitchen table. Chicken nuggets and carrot sticks, nothing fancy, but Emma ate it without complaint while explaining why octopuses had 3 hearts. "That's so they can pump blood better when they're swimming," she said seriously. "They need more hearts because they have all those arms." "Makes sense." "Do you think Selena knows about octopus hearts?" "I don't know, sweetheart. You should ask her at dinner tonight." Noah paused mid-carrot stick. "How do you know about dinner?" "You put out your nice shirt. You only do that for important things." "Ja sote." She was right. Noah had laid out his best button-down, the one he usually reserved for client meetings, without consciously thinking about why. "It's just dinner." "With Selena?" "Yes." Emma considered this. "Are you nervous?" "A little." "Why? She's nice." "I know, but—" Noah struggled to explain. "It's been a long time since I've had dinner with someone who wasn't you or Grandma." "You mean like a date?" "Something like that." Emma was quiet for a moment, pushing carrot sticks around her plate. When she spoke again, her voice was small. "Do you miss Mommy?" The question hit Noah like a punch to the chest. "Every day." "Me too, but I can't remember her face anymore unless I look at pictures." "That's okay. You were really young." "Does it make you sad that I can't remember?" No, baby. It makes me sad that she's not here to make new memories with you. But the fact that you can't remember just means you were little. It doesn't mean anything's wrong." Emma nodded, but she looked troubled. "If you start dating Selena for real, does that mean you're forgetting Mommy?" Noah knelt beside her chair, taking her small hands in his. "Listen to me. I will never forget your mother. Never. She was the most important person in my life until you were born, and then you were both the most important. Loving someone new, if that ever happens, doesn't erase the person who came before." "Promise?" "Promise." Emma hugged him fiercely. "Okay, then you should go to dinner and have fun, and ask about octopus hearts." "I'll ask about octopus hearts." Beat. Mrs. Chen arrived at 6:30. Emma was already in pajamas, setting up an elaborate Lego space station on the living room floor. Noah kissed her goodbye and headed out, his stomach tight with nerves. Marcello's was downtown, tucked into a historic building with exposed brick and candlelit tables. The kind of place Noah had only seen in magazines, white tablecloths, wine lists longer than restaurant menus, waiters who spoke in hushed tones about tonight's special preparation. He felt immediately out of place. Selena was already there, seated at a corner table partially hidden from the main dining room. She changed from this morning's casual outfit into a dark green dress that somehow managed to be both elegant and understated. Her hair was down, makeup minimal, but she still looked like she belonged in a different world than Noah. She stood when he approached. "You came. You made a reservation. Seemed rude not to show up." A small smile. "I wasn't sure you would." I said 7 o'clock. I'm here at 7 o'clock. Most people in my world say 7 and mean 7:30, fashionably late. I'm not most people. I'm learning that. They sat. A waiter appeared immediately with menus and wine recommendations that went completely over Noah's head. Selena ordered something Italian he couldn't pronounce. Noah asked for whatever red wine was good and hoped for the best. When the waiter left, awkward silence descended. "So," Noah said. "So. This is weird," Selena laughed, some of the tension breaking. "Incredibly weird. I haven't been on an actual date in 3 years. This is a date, isn't it? We're at a romantic restaurant, alone, making conversation. That's generally the definition. I thought this was part of the arrangement, being seen together." "It can be both." Selena leaned back in her chair. "How was the rest of your day?" "Fine. Boring. My coworker gave me a lecture about introducing you to Emma too quickly. Was he right? Probably. But Emma doesn't really give you a choice. She decides she likes someone, and that's it. Instant friendship. She's very trusting. Too trusting sometimes. I worry about that. Don't. The world needs more people who lead with trust instead of suspicion." The wine arrived. Noah took a sip and tried not to wince. It tasted expensive and complicated, nothing like the $20 bottles he occasionally bought at the grocery store. "You hate it," Selena observed. "I don't hate it. It's just, you can say you hate it. I won't be offended." "Fine. It tastes like someone dissolved wood chips in alcohol." Selena nearly spit out her own wine, laughing. That's a fairly accurate description of aged Barolo. Why do people drink this? Because it's supposed to be sophisticated. Sophisticated tastes terrible. Sometimes. She signaled the waiter. "Can we get a beer menu?" You don't have to." "Noah, I've had enough wood chip wine for one lifetime. Let's get something we'll actually enjoy." Tours. They ended up with local craft beers and appetizers that weren't on the menu, something the chef made special after Selena asked if they had anything less pretentious and more interesting. The food arrived in small plates meant for sharing. Bruschetta that actually tasted like tomatoes instead of concept, fried calamari that wasn't rubber, fresh mozzarella that melted on contact. "This is better," Noah admitted. "Much better. I hate fancy restaurants, but my assistant always books them because she thinks that's what I want." "Why don't you tell her otherwise?" "Because I've spent so long performing the role of billionaire CEO that I've forgotten how to just be myself." Selena picked at the bruschetta. "You asked me about this before. About whether I'm always performing. The answer is yes, almost always, except with you and Emma. This morning, with the volcano crisis and chocolate croissants, that was the first time in months I've done something spontaneous. The first time I've just existed without calculating every move 3 steps ahead. Did you like it? I loved it, which terrifies me." "Why?" "Because spontaneity is dangerous in my world. Every unplanned moment is a risk. Every genuine emotion is a weakness someone can exploit." Noah set down his beer. "That's a horrible way to live. It's the only way I know. So change it. Just like that?" "Why not? You're a billionaire. You have resources, power, freedom most people can't imagine. If you hate performing, stop performing." Selena laughed, but it sounded bitter. "You make it sound simple. Isn't it?" "No. Because the moment I stop being the ice queen, the moment I show vulnerability or uncertainty, my board will question my leadership. Investors will panic. Competitors will sense weakness and move in for the kill." She paused. "In my world, showing your real self is suicide. Then maybe you're in the wrong world." The words hung between them. Selena stared at Noah like he'd suggested she burn down her own company. "I've spent 15 years building Von Tech," she said quietly. 15 years sacrificing everything, relationships, family, any semblance of normal life, to create something that matters. You're suggesting I walk away? I'm suggesting that maybe success isn't worth the cost if it requires you to stop being human. But easy to say when you're not the one with 15,000 employees depending on you, when you're not responsible for billions in shareholder value. You're right, I don't have those responsibilities. But I do have a daughter who needs me to be present and real and emotionally available. And there have been times, especially after Rachel died, when I wanted to shut down completely, to just go through the motions and pretend I was fine. But what stopped you? Emma, because she needed more than a father who was technically alive but emotionally dead. She needed me to be honest about grief and fear and all the messy human stuff that comes with loss. Noah leaned forwards. You're not that different from me, Selena. You're just hiding behind boardrooms instead of bedrooms. Her eyes filled with tears. Stop. Why? Eyes filled with, because you keep saying things that make it impossible to maintain any emotional distance. Good. That's not... She wiped her eyes, frustrated. This arrangement was supposed to be simple. 6 weeks of strategic public appearances while we both got what we needed. But you keep pushing me to be more honest, more vulnerable, more real than I've been in years. Is that a bad thing? It's terrifying. Their entrees arrived. Pasta dishes that smelled amazing, but neither of them really noticed. They ate in silence for a while, the conversation hanging heavy between them. Finally, Selena said, Emma asked you about octopus hearts, didn't she? Noah blinked. How did you... Because that's exactly the kind of thing a curious 6-year-old would fixate on. Did you look it up? She explained it at dinner. 3 hearts for better blood circulation. And she wanted you to ask me if I knew about it. She thinks you're basically an encyclopedia of interesting facts. I like that. Being seen as interesting instead of intimidating. You're both, but mostly interesting. Selena smiled, a real smile, not the professional mask she wore in public. You're very good for my ego. Your ego doesn't need help. It's got enough support from business magazines and Forbes lists. Those aren't about ego. Those are about credibility. Proving I deserve the success I've built. To who? Everyone, my board, investors, competitors, people who said I'd never make it because I was too young, too female, too aggressive, too... She stopped. Sorry, that's more honesty than you probably wanted. I asked for honesty. I know, but most people don't really mean it when they ask. I do. They finished dinner slowly, conversation drifting from business to Emma's school, to whether Mars colonization was realistic to Selena's brief and disastrous attempt at learning to surf in her 20s. The awkwardness from earlier dissolved into something comfortable, easy, dangerous. When the check arrived, Noah reached for it automatically. Selena put her hand over his. Let me. I can pay for dinner. I know you can, but I make exponentially more money than you, and I chose a restaurant that costs $300 for 2 people. Let me pay. 300. Noah stared at the menu prices he'd carefully avoided looking at. Jesus Christ. It's fine. I expense it as a business dinner. Is that legal? We're discussing our arrangement, which benefits my company's stock price. Technically, it's business. Noah let her pay, feeling vaguely uncomfortable but not enough to actually argue. They walked out into the cool November night, the city alive around them with traffic and voices and the distant sound of music from somewhere nearby. I should get home, Noah said. Mrs. Chen charges extra after 10. Of course. Selena didn't move. Noah? Yeah, Thank you. For tonight, for pushing me to be honest even when it's uncomfortable. For... She hesitated. For seeing me as more than just the ice queen. You make it easy. No, I don't. I'm difficult and guarded and terrible at letting people in. But you keep trying anyway. Before Noah could respond, Selena stepped closer and kissed his cheek. Quick, almost chaste, but enough to make his heart skip. Good night, Noah. Good night, Selena. He watched her walk to where her car was waiting. Not the Audi from this morning, but a town car with a driver, because apparently billionaires didn't drive themselves to dinner dates. Fake dinner dates, strategic public appearances, except it hadn't felt fake. Noah's phone buzzed as he walked to his own car. Text from an unknown number. Saw you at Marcello's. Cozy. Tell me, does she know you're broke? That you live in a house worth less than her monthly car payment? She's slumming, Bennett, and when she gets bored, she'll destroy you. Marcus. Again. Noah deleted the message and drove home, Marcus's words echoing in his head despite his best efforts to ignore them. Was Selena slumming? Was this whole arrangement just entertainment for someone bored with boardrooms and business deals? Or was she genuine? Actually interested in building something real beneath the strategic facade? Noah didn't know. And that uncertainty kept him awake long after Mrs. Chen left, long after he'd checked on Emma sleeping peacefully with her volcano on the nightstand, long after the city outside went quiet. Somewhere across town, he imagined Selena lying awake too, wondering the same things, scared of the same possibilities. Two people pretending to be in love while accidentally stumbling toward the real thing. What could possibly go wrong? Everything, absolutely everything. And Noah was starting to think he didn't care. The arrangement lasted exactly 17 days before everything fell apart. Not slowly, not with warning signs they could have navigated around. Just 17 days of carefully managed public appearances and private moments that felt increasingly less fake, and then Marcus detonated a bomb that shattered everything. It started with an email that arrived at Noah's work account on a Wednesday morning. Subject line, "The truth about Noah Bennett." Noah almost deleted it as spam, but something made him click. The email contained a single link to an investigative article published that morning on a major financial news site. The headline made Noah's stomach drop. Vaughn Tech CEO's new romance built on lies. Boyfriend hid past connection to corporate fraud. He read the article 3 times, each pass making him feel sicker. The story claimed that 8 years ago, Noah had been offered a substantial payout, nearly $200,000, to approve falsified construction permits on a Vaughn Tech housing development. The permits would have allowed substandard materials that violated safety codes, saving the company millions but putting families at risk. According to the article, Noah had initially accepted the money, then backed out at the last minute and reported the scheme to authorities. The investigation that followed destroyed several careers, cost Vaughn Tech tens of millions in fines and project delays, and created a scandal that nearly tanked the company's IPO. Everything in the article was true. Every word. Except for one crucial detail. Noah had never accepted the money. He'd been approached, yes, offered a life-changing amount to look the other way. But he'd refused immediately and reported it that same day, knowing it would probably cost him his career in the industry. The article twisted that refusal into something calculated. Made it sound like Noah had taken the payout, gotten cold feet, then turned informant to save himself. Like he was morally ambiguous at best, opportunistic at worst. And the final paragraph connected everything to Selena. Questions now arise about whether Bennett's relationship with Vaughn Tech CEO Selena Vaughn is romantic or strategic. Sources close to Vaughn suggest she may be unaware of Bennett's history with the company. Others speculate this is an elaborate reconciliation, Vaughn rewarding the whistleblower who once cost her millions by elevating him to executive status through a fabricated romance. Noah's phone started ringing before he'd finished reading. David, Margaret, unknown numbers he didn't recognize. He ignored them all, staring at his computer screen and trying to process what was happening. Marcus had done this. Had to be Marcus. The timing was too perfect, the framing too deliberate. This wasn't investigative journalism. It was character assassination disguised as news. His phone buzzed with a text from Selena. "My office. Now." Noah stood on shaky legs and headed for the elevator, aware of everyone staring as he passed. Whispers followed him through the hallway. Someone had clearly already read the article. The ride to the 42nd floor felt endless. Caroline looked grim when Noah emerged from the elevator. "She's waiting for you. And Mr. Bennett, whatever happens in there, she's not angry at you." That should have been reassuring. It wasn't. Noah knocked on Selena's office door. Her voice came through immediately. "Come in." She stood by the window overlooking the city, arms crossed, tension radiating from every line of her body. On her desk sat a tablet displaying the article. "Did you know about this?" Selena asked without turning around. "About Marcus planning to... about your history with the company, the fraud investigation. The fact that you were involved in the biggest scandal Vaughn Tech faced before I took over." "I knew. Of course I knew. I was there. And you didn't think to mention it when we started this arrangement?" Noah's jaw tightened. "It was 8 years ago. I reported corruption. Did the right thing and moved on. Why would I bring it up?" "Because it's relevant." Selena turned to face him, and Noah saw exhaustion in her eyes, not anger. Because my board is currently in an emergency meeting discussing whether you've been manipulating me this whole time. Because Marcus is giving interviews claiming this entire relationship is revenge for the money you lost when you turned whistleblower. That's insane. Is it? From their perspective, you cost this company millions 8 years ago, then mysteriously reappear as my boyfriend right when I'm facing a board challenge. It looks orchestrated. I didn't orchestrate anything. You asked me to dance. You offered me the arrangement. I was just trying to help. I know. Selena's voice cracked slightly. I know that, but my board doesn't. And right now they're drafting a motion to force me out unless I publicly end this relationship and distance myself from you completely. The words hit Noah like a physical blow. They want you to throw me under the bus. They want me to choose between my company and... She stopped, struggling. Between everything I've built and someone I've known for less than 3 weeks. Then the choice is obvious. Is it? Selena, I'm not going to let you lose your company because of me. End the arrangement. Issue a statement. Do whatever you need to do. Just like that? Just like that. She stared at him. You're not going to fight for this? Fight for what? A fake relationship that was supposed to last 6 weeks? We barely made it 3. It stopped being fake. The words burst out of Selena with enough force to surprise them both. Or did I imagine the last 2.5 weeks, the dinners and conversations, and the way Emma hugs me goodbye now like I'm part of your family? Noah's chest tightened. That's exactly why I'm telling you to end it. Because it did stop being fake. Because Emma asked me last night if you were going to be her new mom. Because I'm in way over my head with feelings I wasn't supposed to develop. And if I let you sacrifice your company for me, I'll hate myself and you'll eventually hate me too. You don't know that. Yes, I do. Because I watched my wife give up opportunities for our family, and she never resented it, but I always wondered what she could have become if she'd chosen differently. I won't do that to you. Selena crossed the distance between them, stopping close enough that Noah could see tears gathering in her eyes. What if I want to choose you? You don't. You want to stop feeling alone. There's a difference. Don't tell me what I want. Baos. Then tell me honestly, if the board weren't involved, if there were no consequences, would you still want this? Or are you just scared of going back to the life you had before? The question hung between them. Selena opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. No words came, and that was answer enough. End it, Noah said quietly. Save your company. I'll be fine. Noah, I mean it. Emma and I will be fine. We've survived worse than tabloid dramas. He turned to leave before Selena could see his face crumble. Made it to the door before her voice stopped him. The article got one thing right, she said. You are the most honest man I've ever known, even when honesty costs you everything. Noah didn't trust himself to respond. He just left, walking past Caroline's concerned expression, into the elevator, down to the lobby, out into the cold November air that felt like breathing glass. His phone was exploding with messages, reporters requesting comment, coworkers asking if he was okay, his mother demanding to know what the hell was happening, and one text from Marcus, told you she'd destroy you. At least now you can't say I didn't warn you. Noah deleted it and kept walking, no destination in mind, just movement to keep from falling apart completely. He ended up at Harbor Park, sitting on the same bench where he and Selena had made their arrangement 17 days ago. The water looked gray under overcast skies. A storm was coming. He could smell it in the air. His phone rang. Unknown number. Noah almost didn't answer. Mr. Bennett? This is Thomas Reeves from the Financial Crimes Division. I'm calling regarding the article published this morning about the 2018 construction fraud case. Noah's heart sank. I already gave my statement 8 years ago. I understand, but given the renewed public interest, we're reviewing the case files to ensure accuracy. The article claims you initially accepted payment before turning informant. Our records show otherwise, that you reported the scheme immediately upon being approached. Can you confirm that's correct? Yes, I never took any money. I reported it the same day. That's what I thought. Thank you for confirming. We'll be issuing a correction to the media outlets that ran the story. Will that help? It should. The truth matters, Mr. Bennett, even when it takes time to surface. They hung up. Noah sat there staring at his phone, wondering if truth actually mattered when lies spread faster and burned hotter and left scars that corrections couldn't heal. The rain started around noon. Noah stayed on the bench, getting soaked, not caring. His phone kept ringing. He kept ignoring it. Until Emma's school number appeared, he answered immediately. "Hello? Mr. Bennett, this is Principal Walsh. I'm calling because Emma had an incident at lunch today." Noah was on his feet instantly. "Is she hurt?" "No, she's fine physically, but she got into an altercation with another student who was—" The principal paused delicately, making comments about the news articles. Emma punched him. "She what?" "Punched him in the nose. No serious injury, but I need you to come pick her up. We have a zero-tolerance policy for violence." Noah ran to his car. Noah ran to his, drove to the school, breaking probably 6 traffic laws, and found Emma sitting in the principal's office with red eyes and clenched fists. "Emma." "He said you were a liar." Emma's voice was fierce despite the tears. "He said you stole money and that Selena was going to leave because you're bad. And I told him to shut up, but he kept saying it, so I—" She demonstrated the punch in the air. Principal Walsh cleared her throat. "Jason's parents are understandably upset. Emma will be suspended for 2 days." "I understand." Noah knelt in front of his daughter. "Violence isn't okay, even when someone says something that makes you angry." "But he was lying about you." "I know, baby, but hitting him doesn't change what he said. It just gets you in trouble." "So I'm supposed to let people say mean things?" "You're supposed to walk away and tell a teacher. That's what we've talked about." Emma's face crumpled. "I'm sorry. Everyone was staring and whispering, and Jason was being so mean, and I wanted them to stop." Noah pulled her into a hug, his heart breaking. This was exactly what he'd feared. The chaos spilling over into Emma's life, affecting her school, her friendships, her sense of safety, all because he'd tried to help someone. They drove home in silence. Emma stared out the window, hiccuping occasionally from leftover tears. Noah gripped the steering wheel and tried to figure out how to explain that sometimes doing the right thing made everything worse before it got better. At home, Emma went straight to her room without being asked. Noah heard her stuffed animals getting violently rearranged, her version of processing big emotions. He sat at the kitchen table and finally looked at all the messages he'd been ignoring. Most were from reporters, several from concerned coworkers, 3 from his mother, each more frantic than the last, and 1 from Selena. "I told the board no. They can force me out if they want. I'm not ending this." Noah stared at the message for a long time. Then he called her. She answered on the first ring. "Noah, what did you do?" "I told them the truth, that you're the most honest person I know, that the article is deliberate manipulation designed to destroy both our reputations, that I trust you more than I trust any of them." "Selena, you can't—" "I already did." "Emergency board meeting is in 2 hours. They're voting on whether to remove me as CEO. Stop this. Call them back. Tell them you made a mistake." "No. You're going to lose everything." "Not everything. I'll lose a company. That's not the same thing." Noah couldn't breathe. "Emma punched a kid at school today because he called me a liar. She's suspended for 2 days. She's upstairs right now crying because she doesn't understand why defending me got her in trouble. This is destroying her life, Selena. Yours too. And for what? An arrangement that was supposed to be temporary?" It stopped being an arrangement. Selena's voice was steady despite everything. "I know you felt it too. The way this became real when neither of us was paying attention. That doesn't matter. It's the only thing that matters." "No. What matters is that you have 15,000 employees depending on your company. What matters is that my daughter needs stability, not chaos. What matters is what matters is that I'm tired of sacrificing everything for other people's expectations." Selena's composure finally cracked. "I've spent 15 years being the Ice Queen, building empires, making money, proving I deserve success. And I'm miserable, Noah. Completely, desperately miserable. Because I have everything society says I should want and nothing that actually makes me happy. So fix that. But not by destroying your company for someone you barely know. I know you better than I've known anyone in years. You and Emma, you showed me what life could be if I stopped performing. If I actually let myself be human instead of a corporate machine." We're not worth losing everything for. Yes, you are. You just don't see it because you've spent 3 years thinking you don't deserve good things after losing Rachel. The words hit hard enough to make Noah sit down. That's not... Yes, it is. You're so busy protecting everyone else that you won't let anyone protect you. Won't let yourself want anything beyond basic survival. Won't believe that maybe you deserve happiness too. This isn't about deserve. It's about reality. The reality is that we come from different worlds. The reality is that your board will never accept me. The reality is that Emma comes first, always. And I can't let her grow up in a circus of media attention and corporate warfare. Selena was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was thick with tears. You're right. About all of it. I can't give you the quiet life you've built. Can't promise Emma won't be affected by the attention. Can't even promise my company will survive this board meeting. But I can promise that I love you, both of you, and I'm willing to risk everything to try. Noah's chest felt like it was collapsing. Selena! I know you can't say it back. That's okay. I'm not asking for promises. I'm just telling you the truth. Because you taught me that honesty matters more than strategy. She hung up before Noah could respond. He sat there holding his dead phone, Emma crying quietly upstairs. His entire life balanced on a knife's edge. And for the first time since Rachel died, Noah had no idea what to do. The answer came from the last person he expected. Marcus showed up at Noah's house that evening. Just walked up to the front door and knocked like he had any right to be there. Noah answered with Emma already in bed, exhausted from crying and punching and the general catastrophe of her day. You've got 30 seconds to get off my property, Noah said. I'm here to make a deal. Marcus looked smug despite the rain still coming down. You walk away from Selena, publicly. Tell the media it was all a mistake. That you got caught up in the attention and realize you're not compatible. In return, I'll retract my statements to the press and issue a correction about the fraud case. Why would you do that? Because Selena's board meeting is in 1 hour. If she goes in there still linked to you, they'll remove her. But if you've already ended it publicly, if she can claim she discovered your deception and cut ties, she survives. And you get what you want. Her humiliated, her company destabilized, her reputation damaged. I get justice. For what she did to my career. Noah stared at this man who'd driven across the city in a rainstorm to manipulate the situation one final time. You really loved her, didn't you? Marcus blinked, thrown by the question. What? Selena, you loved her, and when she chose her company over you, it destroyed something inside you that you've been trying to rebuild by destroying her. You don't know what you're talking about. I think I do. Because I understand what it's like to lose someone you built your whole world around. The difference is, when Rachel died, I didn't spend 3 years trying to make the universe pay for it. Your wife died. Selena chose to leave me. That's not the same. You're right, it's worse. Because she left for a reason. Because you tried to use her connections for your own gain, and when she caught you, you blamed her for having standards. Marcus's face darkened. Take the deal, Bennett. It's the only way she survives. No. No? I'm not making a deal with you, and I'm not walking away because you threatened me. Noah stepped closer. You want to know why Selena left you? It's not because she loved her company more than you. It's because you never saw her as a person, just as a resource to exploit. And the moment she stopped being useful, you turned her into an enemy. That's not... I'm going to that board meeting. I'm going to tell them the truth about the fraud case, about our relationship, about everything. And then I'm going to let Selena decide what she wants, not what her board wants, not what you want, what she actually wants for herself. They'll destroy both of you. Maybe. But at least we'll go down honestly instead of hiding behind lies and manipulation. Noah closed the door in Marcus's face. Then he called Mrs. Chen, asked if she could stay overnight with Emma, and drove to Von Tech headquarters with no plan beyond telling the truth and hoping it was enough. The board meeting was on the 42nd floor in a conference room Noah had never seen before. Glass walls. A table that sat 20. Selena at one end, at Chashakiyat. 12 board members arranged like a firing squad. Security tried to stop Noah at the elevator. Sir, you can't... Let him in, Selena's voice came through the intercom. He's here for me. The boardroom went silent when Noah entered. Selena stood, her face showing relief and fear in equal measure. "Who the hell is this?" one of the board members demanded. "Noah Bennett," Selena said. "The man you're demanding I denounce. You can't bring him to a closed board meeting. This is my company. I'll bring whoever I want." Selena looked at Noah. "You came. You said you were willing to risk everything. Figured the least I could do was show up." The board erupted in protests. Selena held up her hand for silence. "Noah has something to say. You'll listen. Then you'll vote. That's how this works." Noah walked to the front of the room, hyper-aware of every hostile stare tracking his movement. He'd never been good at public speaking, usually froze in front of crowds. But something about the absurdity of the situation, a mid-level architect facing down billionaire board members, made him almost calm. 8 years ago, Noah started, I was approached by a contractor working on a Vaughan Tech housing development. He offered me $200,000 to approve falsified permits that would have allowed substandard construction materials. Materials that would have made those homes dangerous for the families living in them. Several board members shifted uncomfortably. This was company history they'd rather forget. "I reported it immediately," Noah continued. "Didn't take the money, didn't hesitate, just did the right thing. And yes, it cost your company millions, delayed your IPO, created a scandal, but it also saved lives. Because those homes were built properly instead of cheaply. Because families weren't put at risk for profit. We know the history," one board member said. "What's your point?" "My point is that I've never regretted that decision. Not once. Not even when it cost me job opportunities and industry connections. Because some things matter more than money." He looked at Selena. 3 weeks ago, I met someone who'd forgotten that. Someone so focused on building an empire that she'd stopped being human. And I helped her remember. Not because I wanted anything from her. Not because I was seeking revenge or manipulation or whatever story you've convinced yourselves is true. But because she needed help, and I was there. Well, how touching, another board member said sarcastically. "This doesn't change the fact that your relationship is damaging our stock price." "You're damaging your stock price," Noah shot back, "by treating your CEO like a robot instead of a person. By demanding she sacrifice every aspect of her personal life for quarterly earnings. By making her feel like showing vulnerability is weakness instead of strength." "Mr. Bennett, beschließe. I'm not finished." Noah's voice hardened. "Selena Vaughn is the smartest, most capable, most dedicated CEO you could possibly have. She's built this company into something that actually matters. But you're so terrified of her being human that you'd rather force her out than accept that she might want something beyond boardrooms and shareholder meetings. This is inappropriate. What's inappropriate is threatening to destroy her career because she dared to care about someone. What's inappropriate is making her choose between happiness and success like they're mutually exclusive. What's inappropriate is letting a bitter ex-fiancé manipulate you all into believing lies because you're more comfortable with the ice queen than the real woman underneath." Silence fell over the room. Noah took a breath. "I came here to tell you the truth. Selena and I did start as an arrangement, a temporary solution to mutual problems. But it became real. She became important to me. My daughter loves her, and I love her. Not her money, not her status, just her. The woman who fixes volcanoes before school and asks about octopus hearts and cries on park benches when she finally lets herself be vulnerable." He turned to Selena. "I don't know if this helps. I don't know if they'll listen or if they'll vote you out anyway. But you deserved someone here who sees you, who chooses you. Not the company, not the image, just you." Selena's face was streaked with tears. "Noah, whatever you decide, I'm here. If you want to fight for your company, I'll fight with you. If you want to walk away, I'll help you build something new, whatever you need. I need," her voice broke, "I need you to know that you and Emma are the best thing that's happened to me in 15 years. That you're right about everything. That I'm terrified and I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm sure about you. Then that's enough." One of the board members stood. "This is all very dramatic, but it doesn't change our fundamental concern. Ms. Vaughn's judgment has been compromised. Her personal entanglements are affecting company operations. We have a fiduciary duty To maximize shareholder value, another board member interrupted, which Ms. Vaughn has done better than anyone in this industry. Our stock is up 300% since she took over. Revenue has quadrupled. We've expanded into 6 new markets. And you want to remove her because she had the audacity to develop feelings for someone. Thank you, Richard, Selena said quietly. I'm not defending this for sentiment, Richard continued. I'm defending it because removing our most valuable asset over tabloid gossip is the dumbest business decision we could make. The stock dip is temporary. Her leadership is what matters. Another board member nodded. He's right. We're overreacting. She brought her boyfriend to a board meeting, and he just gave the most honest speech I've heard in this room in 5 years, Richard countered. Maybe we should listen. The debate continued for 20 minutes. Noah and Selena stood together, hands clasped, while their fate was argued over by people in expensive suits who'd never met Emma, or fixed a paper mache volcano, or understood what it meant to choose honesty over strategy. Finally, Richard called for a vote, 7-5. Selena kept her position. The relief was overwhelming and insufficient in equal measure. Selena had survived, but the vote meant half her board wanted her gone. The company was fractured. The fight was far from over. They left together, ignoring the shocked whispers following them down the hallway. In the elevator, Selena finally let herself break down completely. I thought I was going to lose everything, she said through tears. You still might. That vote was close. I know, but I have time now. Time to rebuild trust. Time to prove I can be human and competent simultaneously. What about us? Selena looked up at him. What about us? That wasn't fake in there, what I said about loving you. I know. I meant it. I know, she said again. I meant it too. They kissed in the elevator, messy and desperate and real. No cameras, no strategy. Just 2 people who'd accidentally fallen in love while pretending to be something they weren't. The doors opened on the lobby. They pulled apart, laughing weakly. What happens now? Selena asked. Now we figure it out. 1 day at a time. No arrangements, no 6-week timelines. Just seeing where this goes. That's terrifying. Good. We're both terrified. That probably means we're doing it right. Sorry. They walked out into the rainy night, and Noah drove Selena home to his small house in the suburbs where Emma was sleeping, and Mrs. Chen was knitting on the couch, and life was messy and imperfect and real. And somewhere across the city, Marcus Ashford watched the news coverage of the board meeting and realized he'd lost. Not because Selena had won, but because she'd found something he'd never been able to give her. Someone who loved her for being human instead of perfect. 3 months later, Emma's 7th birthday party was held in Noah and Selena's backyard. Not the house Noah had lived in for years, but a new place they'd bought together. Bigger, to accommodate Selena's need for a home office, but still in Emma's school district because stability mattered. The party was chaos. 20 first graders running around hopped up on cake and ice cream, Emma showing off her new telescope, a gift from Selena, to anyone who'd listen. Noah manning the grill while his mother interrogated Selena about her intentions. She's been through enough, Noah's mother was saying. That daughter of yours. If you're not serious about this, I'm very serious, Selena interrupted gently. I love them both. I'm here for the long term. Good, because Emma asked me last week if I thought you'd marry her daddy. And I told her I didn't know, but I hoped so because you make him happy in a way he hasn't been since Rachel died. Selena blinked rapidly. She asked you that? She asks everyone. Very subtle about it, too. Noah's mother smiled. But the answer is yes, isn't it? You're going to marry him. I don't know. We haven't talked about it. You should. Life's too short to wait for perfect timing. Emma ran over, covered in frosting. Selena, come see the moon through my telescope. You can see craters. The moon's not out yet, sweetheart, Selena said. It's still afternoon. But it will be soon, and you promised to show me how to find constellations. After cake, I promise. Emma hugged her waist and ran off to terrorize more guests. Selena watched her go, something soft in her expression. Noah appeared with a plate of burgers. My mother grilling you? Literally and figuratively. She means well. I know, she loves you, wants to make sure I'm not going to hurt you. Are you? Not intentionally, but I'm new at this. The relationship thing, the step-parent thing, all of it. So am I. We'll figure it out together. Uncle. They stood side by side watching the party chaos. Kids playing, adults talking, Emma showing off her telescope to anyone who'd listen. It wasn't perfect. Selena's board was still fractured. Reporters still occasionally called looking for updates. Marcus had moved to Chicago, but apparently still gave interviews about how he'd been vindicated or betrayed or whatever narrative he was selling that week. But it was real. Messy and complicated and real. Later that night, after the guests had left and Emma had fallen asleep clutching her new telescope, Noah and Selena sat on the back porch watching stars appear. "I got an offer today," Selena said quietly. "For what?" "A CEO position. Different company, tech firm in Seattle, clean slate, no board drama, no history." Noah's stomach tightened. "Are you taking it?" "No. I already turned it down." "Why?" "Because I'm tired of running. I built Vaughn Tech. I'm going to fix it instead of abandoning it." She paused. "But also because Emma's school is here. Your job is here. Our life is here. And I'm not choosing career over family ever again." "Selena, I mean it. I spent 15 years sacrificing everything for success. And yes, I built an empire. But I was miserable. You and Emma showed me that success without connection is just expensive loneliness. So what are you going to do?" "Rebuild my board with people who actually believe in work-life balance. Restructure the company to prioritize sustainability over quarterly profits. Maybe take Fridays off to spend time with Emma." She smiled. "Be a person instead of a machine." "That sounds perfect." "It sounds terrifying, but you'll help me, right? Keep me honest when I start reverting to Ice Queen mode?" "Always." They sat in comfortable silence, watching stars and listening to the city hum in the distance. "Noah," Selena said eventually. "Yeah?" "Emma asked me yesterday if I was going to be her mom now." "What did you say?" "I said that her mom would always be her mom. That Rachel would always be important and loved, but that I hoped I could be someone important to her too. Someone who loved her differently, but just as much." Noah's throat tightened. "What did she say?" "She said that sounded good. That she had enough room in her heart for both." Selena's voice wavered. "Then she asked if that meant you and I were getting married. And?" "I told her we'd have to see, that grown-ups take their time with these things." Very diplomatic. "Noah, Selena turned to face him. "I know it's soon. I know we've only been officially together for 3 months, but I need you to know that I'm all in, completely. Whatever this becomes, I'm here for it." Noah took her hand. "I'm all in too, terrified and uncertain and completely out of my depth, but all in." "Good. Because I think Emma's planning our wedding in her head already. She told me yesterday that she wants to wear a spacesuit to be Flower Girl." That sounds exactly like Emma. They kissed under the stars, and somewhere inside Emma dreamed about telescopes and constellations, and having a family that felt whole again. Different from before. Messier, but whole. Because love wasn't about perfection. It was about showing up honestly, even when honesty was hard. About choosing connection over control. About building something real instead of something that looked good from the outside. Selena had spent 15 years being the Ice Queen, cold, untouchable, invincible. And then one night at a charity gala, she'd melted. Not because she was weak, but because she was finally strong enough to be vulnerable. And Noah, who'd spent 3 years just surviving, had learned to live again. To want more than stability. To believe that maybe happiness wasn't selfish when it made room for everyone he loved. They weren't perfect. The road ahead would be complicated. Blending families, navigating corporate politics, managing the media attention that came with being a billionaire's partner. But they'd face it together. Honestly, imperfectly, human. Because sometimes the best love stories aren't about finding someone perfect. They're about finding someone who makes you want to be better, while accepting exactly who you are. And sometimes, fairy tales start with fake arrangements and end with something beautifully, messily real. 6 months later, Selena proposed to Noah on a random Tuesday while they were doing dishes. No grand gesture, no elaborate planning, just the two of them in the kitchen, Emma's volcano drying on the counter for yet another science project, and Selena suddenly saying, "Marry me!" Noah dropped the plate he was washing. It shattered in the sink. What? The plate he was, marry me. Not because it makes sense strategically. Not because Emma wants it. Not because of anything except that I love you and I want to spend the rest of my life doing dishes in this kitchen while our daughter builds volcanoes. Noah pulled her close, soapy hands and all.
Yes. Yes? Obviously, yes. Emma appeared in the doorway, grinning. Did she ask you? You knew about this, Noah demanded.
She asked me first. I said yes weeks ago. Emma ran over and hugged them both. We're going to be a real family. Can I wear my spacesuit to the wedding? Absolutely, son, Selena said. And that was how the Ice Queen of Wall Street became part of a family that wore spacesuits to weddings and built volcanoes for science class and chose love over perfection every single day. Because in the end, that's what mattered. Not the headlines or the stock prices or the board meetings. Just three imperfect people choosing each other, honestly and completely, until dishes and volcanoes and Tuesday night proposals felt like the greatest adventure of all.